Ride or die, remember?
Alright, hello everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
So, this is
Everybody.
Streamers Become Human with our first ever guest.
Ride or
still
die,
have-
remember?
Talked in the top left corner, aka Rory. Top right corner is Melissa, aka Sugar Melly. Center of screen is Mapsio Morgan, also known as Morgan. And then bottom right is Trevor TL Beersy. And then bottom left is our esteemed guest, first and maybe only, depending on how this works.
Hello,
Welcome,
happy to be
Tiff.
here.
Our movements. That was really good.
You know, I gotta let you guys know that I'm here.
Yeah, Zeus, I feel the same way about the ads. I gotta watch
Ride
them
or
too.
die, remember?
Yeah, I had one too.
So,
Thank you all
Hi,
for the
Zeus, Pekka, and hi, Ari.
and Beast.
Hello, everybody. And Beast.
Also,
Hello.
I totally forgot
And Travis.
in Ash's Discord I promote. Does someone want to do that real fast?
I got you.
Yeah, because if I had to do it, I'd have to like exit full screen and then like do some other shit. But
I got you.
yeah, thank you, Pekka. Thank you, Tiff. Thank you, Morgan. And then Zeus, always the first one to be here.
Hey,
Like
Jem, how are
he
you?
just
Good
sits
to
in the
see you.
channel.
Hey, Jem.
Jem, isn't it hell late for you right now? It's not actually that late. It's manageably late. Jem's English, right? I didn't get that wrong.
Yeah, so he's 4 hours ahead of me. So it's like 1 a.m.
Rory, I feel like you were the last person to judge people on like the lateness
Bad
of they
time
stay up.
zones?
No,
Oh,
the
also
lateness of they
that,
stay
yeah.
up because you've.
Yeah.
I've been in a
No,
chat with you before where
actually.
it's like, oh, there are people going to work. It's
Wait,
like,
hold on. It sounds like Morgan's about to defend me on this one.
Oh, no, because Zeus said, so did Morgan, well, you know, I'll defend you on anything. So did Morgan win rock, paper, scissors to be in the middle of the screens? Like, no.
No, it just worked out that way because I don't know because Discord doesn't have a way to like rearrange the screens and then like there's no real unless we were all like pentagon shape to be equal in like the size of the screen. So I guess Discord was just like fuck it, we're gonna make someone in, like large in the center and
Large and in
We were-
charge.
We were really hoping it was going to be Tiff. So,
That's
and
the
on my screen, Melly's the one that's in the middle. So I have no idea.
yeah. See, like it's different for everybody. But the only person it matters for is mine because like that's what they're seeing. So
Yeah.
Yes.
okay, so for those of you who don't know, which I'm assuming all of you do know, person all the way to the left, bottom left, is Tiff. She is streamer, viewer, mod, amazing person, friend, organizer of TallaraCon.
My greatest
Soon
achievement.
to be lawyer.
Hopefully.
Newly founded anti-razor activist.
True.
Let's address that
Are you gonna
first,
burn
actually.
some buildings down? What's going on?
Let's talk about this because I also have a razor problem to follow this up with.
Oh,
Far
okay.
away.
So I
Excellent.
guess we can just start the thing with the Razer antagonizing.
Yeah,
So-
Jem has already begun
Rock
with
Razor.
the hashtag fuck Razor. Let's get that.
And
Thank you.
I would have that in the title, but I don't think they allow you to have the F word in your title. So I had to
We're
do
gonna
the
get
next
banned.
best thing.
Fair. Well, thank you, Trev, for the lovely introduction, and thank you guys for having me. I'm very excited to be here. But let's get right to it. Fuck Razor.
Ride or die, remember?
Monty, thank you for that.
Yeah, so long story short, I was out of commission kind of for a week here because my power adapter for my laptop just completely burned out, and my laptop is barely a year old. So I got it last August, so I'm 13 months out from when I purchased it, which is apparently 1 month out of its warranty length.
It's like they knew. They're like,
Right?
this
I'm
product's
sensing
gonna break down.
They did
Apple
some
thinks
math,
the
and they're like,
break
all right,
will
this is
go
going to
down
last
to
1 year exactly. Only give them 1 year as a warranty.
And John Cornelius, one of our friends, he made the good point that actually their other pieces of equipment, such as their mice and their keyboards, have
Their
2 to
keys right
3
there,
year
too.
warranties. Oh, there's John. Speak of the devil. Hi, John. Wow.
Hey, John, how are you?
As
Like
he
Bloody
appears.
Mary or something. Yeah, he mentioned that their other peripherals have 2 to 3 year warranties, but yet their laptops, which I paid almost $3,000 for, had a 1 year warranty.
That is absurd.
It is
Yeah,
absurd.
that's-
And
What?
I'm not
That's weird.
saying this as somebody who owns a lot of Corsair stuff or tried to like get attention from them, but you wouldn't have this problem with Corsair stuff. Corsair stuff is amazing.
This makes me nervous because I have a Razer keyboard and a Razer mouse.
I don't
Yeah,
know
well-
what I have.
Also,
It depends on
Corsair
what year
noticed
they were.
me.
I found and I think there's like some moderate consensus on the fact that like certain Razer products from like maybe like pre 2013, especially like peripherals like mice and keyboards, seem to generally work fairly well. I'm not sure if the quality control went completely down the toilet or something like that in the last few years. And Tiff, I think it's worth mentioning that the laptop, which is a Razer Blade, right?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
It's your only, like, you don't have a desktop computer.
No, so yeah, that's another big point is that I am a full-time student and I'm constantly traveling, so just a desktop is just not viable for me. And that's why I had to spend the extra money to get myself a gaming laptop that didn't weigh 10 pounds because I need it for school. And so when this thing went out, then I didn't have a laptop for a whole week. So yeah, it's been stressful, but we're back.
Yeah.
Yay!
As some of
actually-
you would know, if you were in her stream earlier, she finished up Hellblade and saw the documentary at the end and switched to WoW.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
It was great. If you guys haven't played Hellblade, I had always heard great things about it, and I got it on the Humble Monthly bundle like a couple months back, so I was like, I may as well give this a shot. It was great, like just technically, visually, and its audio, it was awesome. It was really good.
And
If
then,
Bleedies were here, he'd tell us that the game was English. So I just, in his stead, I'd like to mention that.
Is that what you're
Also,
gonna say? Because I think I cut you off earlier, Rory. And
I was just gonna say, in my case, I had a Razer mouse. I can't remember what, like a Death Adder or something like that, and I couldn't plug it in one day. It just like wasn't plugging in properly to the USB port. I had a friend over, and he looked at it, and he said, "This isn't a USB mouse."
what?
I said, what the fuck do you mean it isn't a USB mouse? I've been using it as if it were a USB mouse this whole time. He said, no, look at this connector. It's not USB. I looked at it. Indeed, it wasn't. I said, well, that's very strange. I've never seen this connector before. It turns out what happened was it ate part of the USB port when I pulled it out. And
Here, it is called a Death Adder, Rory.
So you kind of just like you kind of
Oh,
crammed it in the
no.
slot that wasn't meant for the slot.
And I was really confused. I was looking at it. I was like, what kind of connector is this? But no, it turns out it's just a USB with like some extra thing inside of it. And so, that borked A, the USB port, and B, the mouse. I was not very happy at all. So even my experience is very different than yours in that it's a completely different problem. But also, I was like, I'm not getting a Razer
I think your
mouse
problem
again.
is more
So
human error
Logitech.
than it was Razer's fault.
I don't know, man. I don't think mice are supposed to eat USB ports, personally.
Well, you see, the icing on the cake of my whole Razer problem, it's like, okay, sometimes, shit happens, things burn out. Oh no, I'm out of warranty. It sucks. But the worst part is that we found out that you had to buy one of Razer's power adapters. They made the adapter slot like a specific shape. It was a complete Apple move. So you can't buy a third
exactly.
adapter.
Yeah. Mm.
And their adapter was $200.
That's
too
absurd.
That's
Because
for a charger.
the
For a
charger,
charger!
Even an Apple one is
the
like $80.
charger for Apple is only
Yeah,
like
Melly's right,
$75
yeah.
bucks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
when
So
you're
the
paying
fact-
more
the
than
fact that
Apple,
it's
there's a problem.
300, I don't know who they think they are, but
Yeah. So anyway, we're back. We're working. I'm gonna keep using the laptop. Obviously, it's brand new and I need it. But in the future, I will never buy anything Razer ever again.
yes.
So
That's a good
there's
idea.
my spiel.
Seriously, the Logitech G502. If anyone out there is in the market for a mouse, I have one.
That's a
Trev
great
has
mouse,
one.
yes.
A bunch of our. I'm pretty sure Paka has one, but I'm not
The
100%.
G502 I think is what most pro gamers use as well.
My
Wouldn't surprise
PC
me,
wrong
yeah.
the first time. So,
So if you want to be a pro gamer, get the G502.
I'm gonna have to upgrade next time.
I don't even know what I have. All I know is that it lights up and it looks like it has like a. It's Rock Cat.
Yeah, I know that brand actually. Yeah, ROCCAT, I think.
Yeah.
So
I think I
Also-
win the most. My mouse has blue polka dots
That
and
looks
was
like,
about $20 from
fancy.
is that a
Best
Staples
Buy.
mouse or an Office Depot
Uh,
mouse?
No,
yeah,
you-
I think I might have
that
got it
looks-
at Staples. It's like your classic little wireless mouse.
Interesting.
I do just want to take a second to welcome everybody in again because
Yes.
we have so
had a
many
lot of
people in here
filter
now.
through.
Yeah. Hi
And
everybody.
so we normally don't get this many people filtering through. I think it's just because Tiff is here.
What
Yeah,
can I
I
say?
agree.
I'm
Tiff
famous.
is the
She
only
has
variable
that,
that's changed.
fame appeal.
Tiff is amazing. So
They're like, oh, I want to see my favorite streamer, celeb, whatever, whatever adjective or like noun you want to throw in there.
and I'll be honest, it's because of Melly and Tiff that Rory and I even know each other. So
That's true.
What can I say? Call me Cupid.
Tiff was actually the first streamer I ever started watching. And you have an awesome community, I have to say. You have a very chill, and it's like a good size.
That is
community
95%
as well.
me. I am the community, just like in most other chats. For those of you who don't know, I'm ranked #1 in all these people's channels.
every one of us.
Hey Lance, how are you? It's good to see you.
Hi, Lance.
And put this in perspective, them two, so top right and center screen are dating, and they're not even #1 in their own channel, in each other's channels. It's me.
I'm
It's Trevor. That's
top
intense.
left there, Trev. Not top right. Top right is Melly.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Hey Mel.
Top left. My bad.
That's the real relationship in this.
I mean, I am
Uh,
seeing you a week before I'm seeing him, so
That's true.
Did I spoil that, you guys? Were you not gonna tell Rory until afterward?
We were gonna announce it in Discord.
so sorry.
Rory, I'm sorry. This is how you needed to find out.
That's all right. It makes good Twitch content.
I can see this in clickbait titles on YouTube. I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay, so Tiff, I guess one of the things we could just ask you, everybody's in here. I want to say, like, there's quite a few people who might already know because you have so many viewers that have been watching you for a really long time. I'm sure everybody else would just want to know, like, so what made you want to stream? What made you want to stream, and how exactly did you get started?
That's a great question. First of all, I do want to say Trev mentioned how great of a community I have, and I do. They're the best, and a lot of you guys are here tonight. So hello. I know all of our communities kind of overlap too, and I love that we've kind of made this integrated space where we're just all friends and we bounce around between each other's channels. So I love that. But yeah, shout out to everybody who's here. Question. How did I start streaming? So it was almost 3 years ago now, which is wild because it doesn't feel that long, and it also makes me feel really old. But I was just going through kind of like a rough patch, and I really just needed something different. And I don't know like how I even stumbled upon streaming, but I just came up with the idea, and I was like, I didn't actually watch Twitch either. I was just like, I'm just gonna try it. So the first streamer I ever watched actually was Ash, and she was kind of who got me into streaming. Like, I had a huge girl crush on Ash. I was like, she is great. Like, I want to be just like her. So that's kind of how I started streaming. The first game I ever streamed was Final Fantasy 15, straight from my PS4. It was like the worst stream ever. And it's only gone up from there, and I've made some amazing friends, and it's honestly like been one of the best things I've ever done, I think, is starting streaming.
So the follow-up question to that is, how did you find out about Twitch, and then how did you end up in Ash's channel?
So I don't even know how exactly I found out about Twitch. I think I just kind of always heard about it, because at that point it was already going for a few years. So I think I just kind of always heard about it, but I never really checked it out. I know for certain how I found Ash was because I was planning on playing Final Fantasy 15. So I looked up who was playing Final Fantasy 15, and she was. And that's how I found Ash, was through her playing that game.
Fun fact, for when she was playing Final Fantasy 15, that was the first time she had over 1,000 viewers in her channel at one point. And that
there you go. See, maybe it was because of me.
That was when she was doing strictly PS4 direct streams.
She was, yes, that's right. Yeah, that was a long time ago, but it's all turned out so well. Like, I can't believe, like, I didn't think anybody would ever watch me, like, but people actually watch me, and I've made such amazing friends like you guys. It's been the best.
And then I also imagine that your first stream went like most people's first stream in here, with the exception of people who like were able to watch other people and then see how they did, and then went into it, as opposed to like people who just got on Twitch for like, all right, we have this option on PS4, let's just or Xbox, let's just stream and then like see where it goes from there.
Yeah, like, I wish in a way I could go back and watch my first stream, but in a way I also don't want to see it because I'm sure it was trash. But I can't quite remember how it went, but I think there was like only 2 people watching me, and it was like my 2 personal friends who I was like, hey, come watch me. And like, I was kind of like, yeah, and then I was kind of like, I don't know, like, you don't know kind of how the process works, and it's just all very a foreign concept, so I can only imagine how hilarious it was, but it was fun.
Do you remember the first time you got trolled?
I don't know. Honestly, I've been very lucky in my Twitch experience. I haven't had really many trolls or like truly toxic people, and I've been very lucky in that aspect. Like, there's nothing like really bad that stands out in my mind, which is good. But it's definitely happened.
Is there a specific reason the word tits is banned in your channel?
That is just not Wisebot, actually.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you had a bad tits experience. And
No, and that was like accidentally found out. That was what,
Yeah,
because
but
you were playing Kingdom Hearts and we named the animal thing Tits or whatever? Or
Titties.
it was like it was
Titties.
named Titties or something.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know and is like, what are they talking about? We found out in my chat that if you type the word tits, it will ban you automatically.
If you type it in like default font, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like clever
And-
heuristics for finding your way around it. So.
Yeah, and so we were like, oh, like, Wisebot must have a profanity filter. So we tried all sorts of other inappropriate words, and nope, they're all fine.
Which
You
we
can
know
say
plenty of because we're all
anything
humans.
you want in that chat except the T word. I have no idea how it started. I'm sure I could like go in and change it, but at this point it's kind of a meme, so I'm just gonna leave it.
And it's like,
yeah,
from
drop
that-
those tits in the chat.
from that
Come on.
one point
Please.
forward, it was just that's all anyone was typing in chat.
Oh yeah.
It was like a good solid like 45 minutes of people just destroying themselves, and I was like, I have no idea what to do here.
It's one of my favorite things too, because it'll just be like in a line of people doing it. Like, somebody will say it, one other person will say it, and then another person. And
Yeah, and it'll
it's-
just come up like, this person's been timed out, this person's been timed out, and you
Yeah.
know what they did.
It's like a tradition. It's like a brotherhood in a way.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's
like an initiation.
If you want to
know?
fit into
Yeah.
this community, you need to do it, or like you're gonna fade out pretty fast.
Spam.
I could proudly say that I've never done it, and I've only had one hate crime in my entirety of my time in Tiff's chat.
Do you remember what it
Please
is?
refresh my memory. Yeah, what was
Because
it?
I imagine
I don't
you
remember,
aren't
but
the
it
type
was
of person
during Twilight Princess. I probably said something about Bleeze being old. Like, if I was to guess.
I thought it was gonna be
Tiff-
like a Division story or something. I was like,
Oh no, that was all you. Don't worry. Tiff, you said something I really liked, by the way, which was you mentioned that you like asked your like IRL friends to like come watch you. I actually think that that's a good idea for people who are just starting out streaming, because it gets you in like conversation mode, which is important to get new people. Because as Trev said, like last episode, like if you're not talking at all for new people coming in, it's like
very
really
uncomfortable. It's
It
very
is.
off-putting as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So at least having a friend there to just talk to one person makes it seem like there's some sort of interaction.
And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
I think it like in terms of us, we're like also kind of lucky because like for me, for instance, I was already on Twitch for a while. Like being in Melly's, like I had so many people from Melly's community come over to mine. Like, but I text Mac and Thomas and I was like, I'm streaming right now, and I think Mac maybe came in later, but it was like mostly people from Mel's channel. Also, mostly because Melly came in and yelled at me and then posted in her Discord that I was streaming. So that helped, I think. Like definitely having like your friends in there and like having a community already too really helps with it.
That's huge. All my viewers on the first day were Tiff's viewers, because Tiff posted in the Discord that I was streaming.
My
Including
groupies.
Tiff herself was there.
Which also, everybody, I'm sure most people in here know who Tiff is, and hopefully you guys are
Alright,
already
Travis.
following her. But
It's Caster.
it's Caster. Come
Because
on,
shout out to
man.
that Wisebot shit. We don't use a Wisebot here.
I have shout out in Nightbot. There we go.
It's still broken. I don't know why. Look, it was broken here, and then Ari had a problem with it as well, and I don't
It's
know.
currently
It's gonna have to-
offline.
Also, Morgan, earlier it said you were playing Fortnite.
What?
Oh, that was a joke though. I think with Party Pineapple.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
everybody that drops into that channel was last seen
Yeah.
playing Fortnite.
Oh, okay. I like that. That's
That's why he had the
good, actually.
kappa. But yeah, I mean, I might be able to see what I had my thing as. But anyways, like we can figure that out later.
So-
She was last seen playing World of Warcraft though, guys.
Yes.
So, not that she's currently offline.
How far is your character leveled up?
I'm almost level 23 now.
I need to catch
You,
up. with
you got to get caught up so we can run some dungeons.
I need to create a
Oh, I need to
character so I
actually
can play with
play.
all of
And
you.
No.
join the Muffin
No, you
Men.
don't.
Yes.
I
Get
will
on
join
it.
the Muffin Man.
This
Wait,
is-
hold
this
up.
will be
Hold
the
up.
Join the
anti-
guild.
I would
For
have
the
to-
alliance.
Whoa,
For the alliance.
listen.
I'm gonna have to make an alliance character, aren't I? For
We
this?
aren't.
Yes.
We aren't
Yeah,
about to start
you're
talking
hard,
about
aren't you?
WoW
It's gonna
for
hurt
2
right
hours.
here.
If we start
A
talking
lot.
about WoW for 2 hours, I'm just gonna mute everybody, and then it's just gonna be a solo podcast.
Hey, Rory, at least I will be there with you. So
That's true.
So, I know Tiff didn't look at the application that I.
Oh
put
my
up.
god, I thought you were going to forward it to
Well,
me.
no. I it wasn't a big deal, but it's just something.
Wait, you didn't even fill out the application?
No,
What kind of
no.
net-
Because so how it works is
You get on
that
there.
networking, yeah.
how it works is if I approach you about being on, then you don't have to fill it out. But you should still be generally familiar. I'm just making these up as I go, but you should generally still be familiar with the application. So on the
So
application,
man, you should feel really good when you're invited. You got invited.
one of
by
the points,
Trevor.
one of the questions is, did you start off as like viewer, mod, streamer for Twitch, and then so you obviously started off as, I'd say, kind of viewer / streamer because you were immediately
Yeah,
just
mostly a streamer. I kind of started streaming and then I started watching. So
Okay.
yeah, kind of started
So
as a streamer.
I imagine that was a lot more different than what most people's experiences are on Twitch because I feel a lot of people start off as viewers.
yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
I agree with that. Hmm.
So do you think you can discuss like how you think it was different for you as a starting streamer as opposed to like putting your feet in the water, seeing how Twitch worked at first, and then gradually like not evolving but like becoming a streamer from there?
Yeah, well, if I could go back, I mean, I did kind of watch a little bit before I started. Don't get me wrong. I didn't just hit share and then I'd never watched any. I did watch a couple of Ashes and then I started streaming. But really, yeah, I kind of just jumped into it and I didn't really know what I was doing. And honestly, I wouldn't recommend that. Like, if you wanted to get into streaming, I would recommend watching first so you know what the hell is going on. Like, obviously, you know the basics. You play a game, you talk. Like, that's how you do it. But at the same time, you don't know like how things work. Like I didn't know, followers versus subscribers versus all these bots and biddies and all these things that I didn't really know about, and just sort of like norms that kind of get established but you don't even really realize it. So it was kind of strange, but I think I did catch on pretty quickly. And once I did start streaming, then I started watching more to get like advice for my own stream, I guess.
Remember who your first who rated you the first time?
I don't know, but I know that Ash rated me once, and I almost had a heart attack because at that point it was before we'd ever talked, and I still thought she was like a celebrity, and I was still like Ash.
So not to seem like full of it, but no, that was like 1,000% me. No, and like
thank you.
I have the
Trev rated you in reality.
I have the backup story for this. So we used to like me, Ash, and then a viewer that some of you know, some of you don't know. They're not around anymore. Tiff will know. I'm not gonna say their name, but
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, they were a Golden State Warrior fan.
Yeah.
So
got it.
we would chill out in like Discord a lot and just like voice chat and like talk. And then one day I remember because you specifically said that like Ash was like, I think it was the same day I creeped on you actually.
It's all coming out here now, folks.
Hold up, back up,
Trevor.
back up the bus. Let's find out what's going on here. What?
No, okay, so I'm gonna explain it. She came into Ash's chat one day, and I don't remember what she was playing. I think it was like, it wasn't Final Fantasy because I wasn't around for Final Fantasy. I was at work. It might have been like God of War or something, because it wasn't relatively recent or something. Because I've known Tiff for like 2 years. So whatever was happening 2 years ago.
This was a few months after I first started streaming. This was at least 6 months after I first started streaming, for sure.
I think Ash was playing Siege at that time. I want to say it was either Siege or something else.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's irrelevant. But I see her come in, and then she was like, she said something about like, oh, you're such an inspiration for me as like a girl streamer or whatever, something like that. She had like a kind of like a paragraph, and like so I've modded for Ash for a while. When I see shit like that, I'm kind of like sketched out. I'm like, is this like self promotion, whatever? I was like, so honestly, I almost like timed you out or like hit you with like the hammer.
Wow.
Because the rules back then in her chat were super different. It's not as relaxed as now. But yeah, so then you said something else about like being an inspiration to like a different girl, and then naturally that's what intrigued me. So then I clicked on the profile, saw it was a chick, and I was like, oh. So then I opened up the channel, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, I'll follow. And then that's when I found out you had just finished your I think your undergrad or whatever. This is before you got in law school. It was like right when you finished.
It was, yeah. I was just going to law school, I think. Yeah, you're right. I think
because I remember
just
I immediately said, "Oh, congrats on graduating or whatever," and then Ash immediately told me, "Don't be creepy," and then you followed up with saying, don't worry, I appreciate the compliment, no matter how creepy it is." And I was like, "Oh God!" I was like, "This is already going so like shit sideways." No, but then I remember I started watching you, and then you kept talking about how like you want to be just like Ash, and like she was like your favorite streamer. So then like she was in voice with me, and I was like, hey, I was like, you should come watch this this one girl. Like she says she's your like biggest fan or whatever, and then she was like, really? And she was like really excited because she was like, I didn't think I had fans or whatever. And I was like, so then like she came over, and then I remember I was just sitting there. I was like, "Oh look who it is!" And I remember like you freaked the fuck out because like you're like, "Oh shit!" Like Ash is here.
I was trying to stay cool, but I was like blushing, and I was like, "Oh my god, she knows I exist."
The entire time.
Also, hey Tater, how's it going?
Hi Tater. But yeah, no, that was a big moment for me for sure. I was like, I've made it. She noticed me.
Well, one thing I can say about you, Tiff, because I met you a number of years ago. I recently had to take tally of how many years that was, and it was 5 years ago, actually.
Wow.
You were always very comfortable, like, behind a microphone and, like, speaking. At least back then, you know, at least since back then. I don't know what you were like before then, but you seemed very comfortable like expressing yourself. Do you have like a past experience that helped you become a streamer? Like, were you into like public speaking in high school or something like that?
Not a bit. I actually used to really hate public speaking. I still don't like love it, but I've gotten a lot better with it, and I actually credit that a lot. So in my undergrad, I did a business undergrad, and a lot of that, like we had to do a lot of presentations for like marketing classes and finance classes, and I just like I had to do it, and I got better at it, and now I'm not so scared of it. I guess it's also easier to talk to the internet though than it is to talk to a room full of people.
Yeah, that's exactly true in my experience as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like it's very common at a younger age for like people not in college, like high school and lower, to get nervous when like you do like presentations in class or something, because that's it's a scaled down form of public speaking, but still it's like you have to present in like 20 or 25 people. So yeah. I think once you get out of that like phase after you've done it, it's like I've kind of done this before, so it's like it gets easier over time as opposed to like constantly just being
that's 100%
nervous
true.
about like everything.
Mm-hmm.
When I was an undergrad in math, there were no presentations right up until the fourth year, and like I'm not sure if you guys have ever met any math majors, but they're not famous for their social comfortability. And yeah, that was I imagine people were pretty terrified of having to do those at the time.
I imagine that was rough.
Yeah.
What does a math presentation even entail?
So in some fourth year math courses and some upper year courses generally in like numerical sciences, they'll get like the students will teach part of the course. So it's like like unit 2, instead of the professor earning his paycheck, the student will stand up and teach everybody unit 2.
Right, like a seminar type of class.
Yeah, like seminar style, yeah. Which can be beneficial, but also like in a lot of those seminar style classes, there's no exams to mark and no assignments to mark, so it's like, what do you do, doctor, whoever? You just sit down. That's it.
Is Gorg streaking in here?
Yes.
Nope, definitely not. He was stopped by the law.
Because I saw it.
Yeah, because I think
saw it pop
clean
up,
is
and then
clean is a Wisebot thing. I think, right?
What is it, purge?
Yeah, it's no. Here you have to like type /timeout and then the username, or you can just click on. If you have the mod icons on, you can click on the little.
Yeah, see, I just have the mod icons. I can do it as
But yeah, I saw him come in, and I was
easy.
just like waiting for him to get destroyed, and I was like, no one's gonna do it. Really?
no Gorg.
All right,
Gorguso.
so next topic for Tiff would be experiences on Twitch. Do you have any certain ones that like it can be like a list? It can be like top 5, top 3, top 10. Anything that just stands out that you feel like most people haven't either had happen to them or you think are unique or like special to you, or
that's a great question. I mean, when Ash rated me for the first time, that was a big one because I was like, I feel like I was finally getting like attention from the greater, stream community. Up until that point, I'd maybe had like 5 viewers, and then I remember Ash brought in like 100 people, and I was like, holy shit! Like that was the most people I'd ever had in my channel at once. So that was a big one for sure. There's just like, I don't know if there was any other big ones, but just sort of like milestones. Like I know, for instance, when I graduated from streaming directly from PS4 to, having an actual PC setup was kind of a milestone. I felt like a real streamer because, I had a real setup and I had a camera and everything. So that was cool. Just like, yeah, I don't know if I'd say there was any other really big milestones. One will be Tallara when that happens. That'll be a big Twitch milestone.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But just the constant growth and just meeting all these people, I look back, like, I think the oldest viewer that I have in my chat right now, I say oldest by, like, longest, but it also means oldest, is Bleeze. He's been watching me now from almost the beginning. Like, he came in very early on. Yeah, dual meaning.
Bleeze is old across categories.
I'm sorry, Bleeze. We love teasing him. But, like, and it's cool to kind of see, like, how far we've come. Like, when I first started streaming, I wasn't in law school, and now hopefully almost finished law school. So it's just kind of been a long journey, and I feel like I've made these friends who kind of come along on this journey with me, and it's just been awesome.
Couple questions from the chat. Riker's asking,
Ooh.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
well,
this is a
do
good
any of
question.
you ever see streaming as becoming the main job?
I'd say absolutely not.
I would love it to be the main job. I fantasized about dropping out of law school and streaming full time. But unfortunately, I don't think streaming would pay off my student loans, and it's too much of a gamble, really. Even if it did work out, I can't see it being like, my career forever. I can't give up my stable desk job for Twitch as much as I want to.
So a follow-up to that is main job. I feel like a lot of people do this for fun or because it's a hobby, and then like most people say, and you don't like, people often tell you find something you love, do it forever, whatever, then it's like, it's not like you're working. But in a sense, over time it is like you're working, so like you may eventually become like sick of it, or like, what if you don't want to do it anymore? You've already put all that, like all your eggs in this basket, or so do you think that you could potentially be like a full-time streamer, and like if you were able to make a substantial amount of money and like actually be able to like live off streaming, do you think that's something you could do for long periods of time? Like because like I know you only do streams for like 3-4 hours, but like there are people who do 8-hour streams or like 12-hour streams and like 24 hours, and then they do it like every single day with maybe like a day off.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing too, is that like you think of the idea like, oh, I'm a streamer, I play video games and talk every day and I make money. The idea is just so great. But in reality, if streaming is your job, like you're not just having fun anymore. You have to be very cognizant of the numbers that you're pulling in. That you need to make money. You need people to be donating. And I feel like that pressure, plus the fact that you need to be streaming all the time, and maybe not necessarily streaming what you want to stream. You have to stream like Fortnite because that's what everyone wants to watch. It would it would take the fun out of it. For me, I stream, and that's my 3 to 4 hours of just like fun. You know what I mean? And then when I'm tired, I'm done, and that's it. There's no pressure. If I do receive, donations, it's just a great surprise rather than, oh, thank God I needed this sort of thing. So I think to have it as a career would really change it, and maybe I wouldn't like it as much anymore if I did it full time.
Also,
think
when you're
there's-
sick, you can just not stream if you
Yeah.
set aside.
But like
Yeah.
if it's your
If it's, like,
full-time job, it's like, oh well, I
I'm
guess
gonna
I'm not
make
eating this
near as
week.
much money today if I'm sick.
It's like, there goes dinner and lamb.
One of the things too also is that it possibly could go into another job. I know that there are cosplayers, like Kamui cosplay, for example, is one of my personal favorite cosplayers. And I was talking to somebody about it one time because they're like, well, how does she make money? Like, she's just a cosplayer. How does she do that? The thing is that it's not just that she makes the costumes. She does a whole bunch of other stuff with, like, I think she has had contracts with Blizzard before, like to do costumes and to do events, or to do like modeling and stuff like that, or to make costumes for other events and stuff like that. So like, I think like sometimes like it can just go into things. Like, I know that there are YouTubers that have become actors because of where they started.
And singers as well. A few
Yeah.
Yes.
non-trivial number of
Yes.
musicians as well.
So I think it kind of depends. I definitely know a couple of streamers that do like 8 hours a day and then 2 days off for the week. And that's the hard part, because you do have to be making sure that you're like getting a certain amount of subs or bits or whatever each day, I guess, which at the same time does take the fun away from it, because you're just worrying about like, I need to make sure to get to this level of revenue for today or else I'm not going to do well. Yeah, like if you guys get what I mean.
Totally. Gem, that lore is correct, by the way.
He did, yeah.
He did, yes, he did.
I feel the fluctuation from like income can also dampen a lot of people's like not like lifestyle, but like how they live at that point in time. Because like if you had 500 subs when you first got partnered, because it's like everyone was happy for you, maybe not all 500 people are gonna stay. So then that's $2,500 that are like out.
I have heard
then,
heard that there are issues sometimes when it comes to people who get partnered, because as a partner, you can actually do things. They're called bounties, where you can basically do like I know for sure that Ash does a couple.
Yeah, you do
she did one
certain
with
things
gummies
and then
one day,
they
yeah.
give you bonuses, like it's
Yeah.
like, oh, do this,
Like,
and you
hey,
get, like,
watch this
$100 or
video.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, like watch this video on your stream. Talk about this product on your stream for like 5 minutes.
I think
So
I
they
think we
do
also
stuff like
call
that too.
selling out. Just kidding.
But with partners, I know that there are some people who have noticed when they do become a partner that maybe some of their viewership or their maybe not their viewership, but their sub counts can sometimes go down because sometimes people just think, oh, they have the check mark next to their name and they're, because they're probably raking in all the money, and that's not necessarily true. Because that's just like the stereotype that people get, though.
Yeah, and that's not
Unfortunately.
necessarily true. That's a really good
No.
point, actually.
To
No, I mean,
add
'cause-
on also, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
It's
you
okay.
were saying that like when you do like bounty and stuff, you can pull like certain people for that too, and like that's also an issue as well. It's like if you do a bounty for like, say you do a one-off, say like you're normally like a Hearthstone streamer or something, and then you do a one-off for like Fortnite, you're gonna get so many people in from Fortnite that like are gonna be confused when they're like, oh, you don't actually play this game. All right, well, see you next time you play it. Okay, so
Ad
this is-
revenue. Yeah, that is also true.
this is a
Tater.
question from like 6 minutes ago, but Ari wants to know, any reason law school, Tiff?
So I had never like a lot of people are like, I've wanted to be a lawyer since I was in diapers, but that's not the case for me. I always wanted to do business. I was majoring in finance. I saw myself, working for a bank. I like numbers. I like money. So that was always the plan. And in my third year, we had to take a required course called business law, which makes sense. And it was essentially, a broad overview of the legal aspects of business, and I loved it. And it was a mixture of a bunch of different things. It was the course content, it was the professor, and I was so interested. So there was a business law 2, and I took that, and then I started talking to the professor. She was a lawyer who went back to school to do her business PhD, so she was like, I can tell you all about law school. And like just through conversations with her and just like, thinking about it more, I guess, I was like, no, that sounds great. So I applied to law school, and now here I am, and hopefully it was the right decision.
So that was pretty late into like your career process, I'd say, because if it like
It
happened
was.
during most people, like when they set out, they're like, all right, we're doing this, and like once you put in the years, it's like I can't switch now because I already took all these classes for this. But you were lucky enough to actually have something that was semi-related, so that it was like an easier transition, as opposed to if like, say you wanted to do something in like computer, then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well I guess I'm gonna be a biology major now. It's like now you have to essentially restart.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so number one, to apply to law school in the first place, you need an undergraduate degree. So it wasn't like I was like quitting that one. I still had to finish that anyway. So that worked out. And also business is a really good like foundational stone for some aspects of law. I mean, you can do anything and go to law school. You could take a degree in, I don't know, something weird. But you know what I mean? Like there's no like
Basket
requirement.
weaving.
There you go.
Yeah.
A degree in basket weaving. There's no like required undergraduate degree, but obviously some are going to be more helpful than others. There's a lot of political science majors, a good few business majors, stuff like
I'd
that.
imagine
So
if you do,
yeah,
like,
Adult poli
criminology
sci is the
too,
most
or
common by
something.
far.
it is the
Oh
most.
yeah, I think
Sure.
so. Yeah, you're definitely right.
Well, I
And
think
it's actually the
depending
same for
on,
medical school as well. You don't need a specific degree for that.
Depending
Exactly.
on like the specific type of law you're trying to get into, like I imagine criminology is like a stepping stone for people trying to get in criminal law, and then like business would be for people trying to get in like business law or something, and then so on and so on. So it's not like, oh, I'm gonna just do like a math major and then switch to being a lawyer. That's the first thing that I just threw out because we were just talking about it. Okay.
Yeah, but that's a good point. And like, just like you can do any degree for medical school, but if
Yeah.
you choose to major in math, then you're not going to know as much biology as the other medical students, even if you get in. Right?
Like you
You'll at a
might be pretty good at like
disadvantage.
surgery or something because like you know the angles and like how to like cut into people, but like other than that, like
Yeah,
You're not gonna know,
you
like,
have a
oh,
rocky
don't cut
time.
this artery because this is like gonna be excessive bleeding for 9 hours.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of, I imagine there's a lot of like essay writing and stuff like that in law, and like a lot of science students generally don't have writing backgrounds at all.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that when we come into law school, we do a course in first year, which is called Foundations of Law, which essentially assumes that everyone has no knowledge and tries to kind of bring everyone up to, speed. They like talk the very basics. But the reality is that some people were ahead. There were people who had their masters in political science and worked for law companies, as assistants. And so first year I found was really hard. Luckily, I did do like a major that was related, but at the same time, law school is very different than just like a regular university degree. Just like the criteria that and what's expected of you was so different. I struggled adjusting in my first year for sure, but I feel like finally now I've kind of like got my stride and I know what's expected of me, and so it kind of takes a while to get into the swing of things, and some people are definitely ahead of others.
I have a question for you, actually, and I guess it's sort of tangentially related to Twitch. You did, when I met you in university a number of years ago, you did a bunch of like extracurricular like things that you were really involved in, like groups and such things. Has any of that like helped you in terms of your skills, either when it comes to like being like a Twitch broadcaster or in law school in any meaningful way? Like, how has that impacted you, or was it just something fun that happened at the time?
Well, first of all, it's great resume boosters. If you can do extracurriculars and throw those on your resume, everyone loves that. So always gotta recommend that. But no, like, I mean, there's just skills that you pick up in extracurriculars and even just in real life that help you. Like, people think, in law school you go and you study all the time and you read, but obviously that's not all of it. There's a lot of
Tarvis tells us
personalities at play. Yeah, like there's a lot of social elements at play, and being involved in extracurricular activities, meeting people, doing events, being with Rory and doing a radio show. It's just all experiences that kind of just
That's some lore right there.
Yeah,
That's throwback
that
lore.
just make you a better, well-rounded person. And the more well-rounded you are, I think the better you're going to do in whatever field you are in.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
no, I agree 100%. Actually, that's my experience as well.
We have a question, or not like a question, but Ray wants you to react to this statement from about 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
I started streaming so that I could play video games instead of watching other people stream.
So he wants me to give my opinion on that?
Yes, like as a motive or like a guideline for people who start out like that.
Okay, well, first of all, it doesn't really apply to me because I didn't watch people before I started. I started streaming because I wanted to play more video games, so it doesn't really apply to me. I find it, I don't know, we're kind of evolving in just the way that like video games are being shared, and streaming is a big part of it. I know I was on Twitter, this was probably a while ago, and some guy was talking about how his son insists, I don't play video games, Dad. I watch people play video games. Like, that was a distinction that he wanted to be known.
That must be so confusing, too. Like, it's like, no, you're playing it right now. It's like, no, it's like, I'm only watching. Like, I feel like parents don't understand the difference between, like, playing
Parents
and
definitely
watching.
don't understand the difference.
Yeah,
They'd
and
be
so
like,
when I first started streaming, I'm doing a lot of weird shit on stream. I'm singing country songs, I'm screaming, I'm cursing. So I had to be like, hey, Mom and Dad, heads up, if you hear any, outrageous
unusual
sounds.
activity.
Yeah, it's just me on stream. And they were like, what do you mean? People watch you play video games? Yeah. Like, that mystifies them. I've been doing it now for so long that I'm just like, I'm streaming, and they're like, okay, but they clearly still don't 100% get it. They're like, what? It's a very new concept, and it is kind of strange if you think about it. We just sit here and watch other people play.
I feel like the older generations that don't really know what this is, but like for us and then like upcoming people now, I feel like it's gonna be more common because Twitch has become a bigger platform, and now
I
we see
remember, like,
Tater-
and stuff.
Tater already said what I was about to say.
Yeah,
because
it's just like watching sports, 100%.
It's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's like, if like, because I've had so many people say like, why don't you just play the games yourself instead of watching people? It's like, okay, you could just go and play football instead of watching it.
Well, there's that great meme that came from it. It was like, I'm sure most of you have seen this meme. It's like someone talking to somebody on a computer, like, so what are you doing? It's like, oh, I'm watching this person play. And it's like, so you're not playing with them, and like, you're not playing yourself? No. And then he's like, well, that's stupid. And then like the next scene is just some guy sitting on his couch watching football and like not doing the exact same thing that he was just judging the other guy for.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Meme that was like people watch other people play video games, but it's like also doesn't understand why we watch other people buy houses. Like
Oh,
on
true, yeah, like
like HGTV or TV. Like we watch, like, I think that's the thing that's interesting about streaming is that stigma against video games for some reason, but there's been like decades now of like reality TV being a thing where we're constantly watching other people do
like random
things,
shit and
like clean their houses, buy houses, or you know, like things like that. So I've had to explain it to other people who don't really get Twitch before, kind of using that as an example. Like, well, what reality TV shows do you watch? You're basically like kind of, we're just watching other people do things that we enjoy, you know.
Yeah.
So well, and part of it too is like I sometimes can understand it with like YouTube that isn't live, you know. But like this is all live. This is all happening like right now. Like right now, like I can talk to Gorg and Tater and Airy and Beast, and I'm talking to them right now.
Yeah.
Like, or as like I'm playing game, I can talk to everybody who's in my chat, like actively, and they can talk back to me. So it's all it's not like it's just, like we're just watching people play either, because we're interacting and everything as well.
Which
yeah,
is,
exactly. Yeah.
I guess a benefit over like doing stuff on TV, because like TV with certain exceptions, like you can interact with stuff, like if you're watching like American Idol or something and they're like, oh, call this number if you want to vote for this like fan, or you're a fan of this person,
Yeah.
you want them to stay.
But you don't get to like talk to
yeah, you don't get to talk to
someone,
them, but like that's the most interaction I've seen for something like on TV.
Yeah.
But like here,
That's
it's like
one
you can
thing
actually have a
about small screens,
conversation.
too. Like you can actually like develop like friendships. Like I can't pick up my phone and ring up the Property Brothers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't know me and they don't want to hear from me. But
They
I
probably,
can,
get,
you know,
they probably
I
get a
can-
million of those
yeah.
calls a week. It's like, hey, and it's like, well,
Yeah, but I could send Tiff a message, you know,
Yeah.
like it's.
and then get a reply within like an hour or two, depending.
Yeah, Tiff is very good about replying to messages. I know that's like not necessary for people to know, but it's true.
Just a fun fact about Tiff.
So if you're in a life-threatening situation, you need something like immediately. Tiff is probably
Call
the one you wanna go
911.
to. Yeah.
No,
Yeah, don't
no.
call me. Don't call me.
Well, no, like an emergency situation that doesn't like involve like you don't need like the cops or anything. It's like something that like you're
Yeah,
stressing out
although
about,
as some people here know, I was once called to deal with a fire.
Oh.
So
Yep.
Tiff, I have a question for you. So you
Alright.
kind of mentioned like it's been pretty great just seeing how like your kind of community grow just over the past few years. Do you have any like specific stories or like memories or things that kind of surprised you about building a Twitch community through your channel?
I think one of the big surprises for me is just the geographical spread of the people who are in my channel. We've got Trev down, in San Diego. We've got Belize up in the UK. We've got TS in
all the way in
Finland, Norway.
Finland,
I
yeah.
always
Finland.
forget where he lives.
Definitely. Yeah.
We've
and Durbo in Finland too.
yeah, and so that's been really cool to me to kind of see people from all over the world really tune in. That's been pretty awesome. In terms of specific moments, I can actually tell you the Rory story because that one was kind of cool.
Ooh, Rory's story.
Yeah, I'll tell you the Rory story because I figure you guys will like that one.
Morgan's really excited.
It's like, oh.
So this was last November, I want to say, Rory started watching my stream. October, November?
It was December when you were playing Fallout 4.
December, okay. So I remember vaguely every now and then someone named Octopus would just kind of like give like a one-liner, just a quick comment, you know what I mean? And it was like not enough that like I really knew him, but enough that I kind of recognized his name. And so anyway, I thought nothing of it. People come into the channel all the time. And then one day Rory messaged me on Facebook. Now, to preface, I hadn't spoken to Rory in years. Honestly, I kind of forgot he existed and I didn't really remember who he was.
Feels bad, man.
So he messages me and it's like, he messaged me on Facebook and I was like, you have a message from Rory, last name. I don't want to out him here on the internet.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is that? So I clicked. I was like, oh my God, Rory. And he was like, just to let you know, like, I just thought I'd give you a heads up that the person Toctopus in your stream, that's me. And I was like, oh my God. And then I had so many questions. I was like, where did you find me? Like, this is so cool. And then it's been really cool that we kind of reconnected because, well, I may as well give the whole story for those of you guys who don't know. Rory said 5 years ago, me and Rory both wrote for our university newspaper. And Rory, were you an editor of a section?
I wrote film reviews.
Okay, so I don't really know how...
I was a staff writer. I was an employee as well.
Okay, yeah, I don't really know like how we met, but we used to have like general meetings and stuff. So I guess we kind of like intersected there somehow.
That's right.
And that's where I met Rory. And we didn't have like a whole lot of communication, but he also hosted a radio show and he somehow found out that I was a gamer and he was like, hey, you want to come on my radio show? So I did, and we talked about games for an hour, and then we kind of like never really talked much again after that. Like that was kind of our penultimate moment. Was the radio show. And so it was so it was really cool to kind of see Rory again, and I was like, oh my God, like it's been so long. And so that was actually a really cool moment. Like Twitch, not only have I met new friends, but I've reconnected with old friends.
Yeah,
so
very different old friends. I'm pretty sure Tiff wouldn't have recognized me if she'd seen
Rory looked so different. Morgan, I wish you knew him.
No, we
back
saw
when
pictures.
I knew
He showed us some pictures.
You've seen pictures? Okay, good. He's changed so much.
Like he posted and I was like, "That's you?" I was like, "I wouldn't have."
Like literally, like relatives walk up. I was at a wedding for my cousin's wedding. I was standing at it, and there was someone in front of me who like walked directly in front of me and spoke to my mother and was like, "Where's Rory?" My mom was like, "That's Rory. He's right there." And we're like,
See a picture of Rory.
All right, so
that demands pics.
Another.
I don't know how to post a picture.
Another comment from about 15 minutes ago. I'm gonna combine these two from Ray and Ari, whatever. Ari said that she knows someone that can only really stream Dead by Daylight because that's the only thing that keeps their number up. And then Ray said he mods for someone who has exclusively like a Magic player, and then they lose a large amount of their viewership when they do non-Magic. And I want your opinion on this. Do you think you'd be able to do one like a full-time game, or do you prefer to be variety? Because I know it's harder to be a variety streamer and like get partnered and stuff like that than it is if you stick to one game and or like one category, because you can like do like music and stuff on here now, but one category and then get partnered that way, but be solely tethered to do that. Okay.
Are you asking me this question, or is this
the
group? Also, can we take a minute and all click on that picture? Right? Isn't it so cute, but so different?
Yeah, that's such a good photo. I love it.
Oh, I can just squish his little cheek.
Tater's like flabbergasted here.
Yeah.
So that is the Rory that I knew from back in the day.
Yeah.
So when he messaged me, I was like, "Who is this bearded man? Like, why is he my?" Like. But anyway, yeah. Back to Trev's question. There is absolutely no way I could play one game every day. That would drive me insane. Also, I stream stuff that I want to play. Like when I get bored of something, even if, unless everyone's like, please, Tiff, and I'm like, okay, I'll give it, give you a few more streams of it. But like, I'm gonna stream stuff that I want to stream. I'm like, oh shit, I want to stream, I don't know, whatever. Like I'm gonna stream it, and so I used to, even my stream schedule, I used to do like one game and get through it and then switch to another game and kind of just rotate that way. But I've gotten so like, I just want the variety so much that I actually do a different game every time I stream. So I stream 3 times a week and I stream 3 different games. And I need that spice of life. I need that variety. There's no way I could just stream one game all the time. Absolutely not. I don't know about you guys. I know we're all mostly variety streamers here, but what do you think?
See,
Yeah,
I
everyone
was
else's opinions
kind
are
of like
welcome,
that at first too, where I was wanting to do just like finish a game, like do a game, finish it. And no, I'm so sorry, Tater. And then I got to Persona 5, and I was like, I mean, I did not think about the fact that how long that game is, especially. Shh, stop it.
I had to.
Especially with just how long the game is and how much. I mean, because like that game, for the first time that I beat it, it was like 130 hours. And then like I wasn't talking to people at the same time, you know, and trying to get through different things while doing that. So like that I understand. Like honestly, like sometimes now when I'm like I feel like playing a game, like if it's not on my 3DS, I'm like I really feel like playing this game. I might as well just stream it. If I'm gonna play, I might as well stream it. And that's kind of what my mentality is now. And so that's why like I sometimes just play like a random assortment of games because like, this is what I really feel like playing right now. Like I really felt like playing Wind Waker, so I started playing Wind Waker. Or like a new game comes out, I'm like, well, I really want to try this. It might not be a stream game, but you know, I wanna play it and interact with my friends and everything while I'm playing. And something 426 hours for Morgan Platt. Thanks so much for reminding everybody.
Something.
But yeah, like that's how I am, and I think like that's how all of us are in terms, at least, of variety.
Well,
that
I feel like Rory is variety, but specifically variety in one category. Because I know he wants to be exclusively a stealth, but like we've gone over this. Like you're gonna run out of stealth games eventually.
Yeah, like you definitely run out of stealth games.
You're
and
gonna
also,
turn to a
like,
variety eventually.
and
hey, you got
sometimes
the Untitled Goose Game that you can play.
you're playing a stealth game, and this probably happens if you focus like hyper focus on any one genre. And by the way, I will say that like just like your guys' variety is a reflection of your own gaming habits, my lack of variety is a reflection of my own gaming habits. But like you'll be playing a game and you're like really frustrated with it. Like say you're playing, I don't know, Sticks. For instance. Totally arbitrary.
Nobody knows what that game is.
Hypothetically.
And you're really frustrated with the fact that the
rope
last part
mechanics
of
are
the
trash.
first Sticks is really bad, right? Just for instance. And like you're like variety, being a variety streamer is a great out for that. You can be like, hey, I'm not playing this anymore, bye, and you can go play something else, right? But if you're a stealth streamer and you're playing a stealth game, it's like you feel like you have kind of an obligation to finish it. But yeah, I had to not play exclusively stealth games basically. And sometimes it's nice for me too, because if you take a break, sometimes you can crave the thing you're taking a break from, which is good. Like you take a break from stealth games and then you're like, I really miss stealth games. And then the next one you can be excited for, as opposed to like burnt out.
That's kind of like
Question,
the food aspect. It's like if you eat tacos every single day and then like that's your favorite food and you're like, oh shit, why am I eating these? And then like you take a month break. It's like, all right, well now I really want tacos.
Yeah, I think I've gotten sick of grilled cheese like 18 different times in my life. And then I'm like, go without one. I'm like, you know what? I miss grilled cheese. And then I get into it.
See, I do the same thing. But yeah, and I feel like that's like the bad, like the unfortunate part about some streamers who start out and then get really popular playing a certain game. So like Trev, what you said like about like Dead by Daylight. Like there are some people like if they're a main Dead by Daylight player and they are like really good at Dead by Daylight. Like obviously like they play it enough. But I know for sure that there are some streamers that like, for example, they play Dead by Daylight most of the time, like I don't know, like 5 days a week or whatever for hours upon hours. And then the one time like they're playing a different game, people will be like rolling in and be like, why aren't you playing DBD? And then they'll leave. So they'll have like maybe half of their normal viewership because of that. Yeah. And this is not why I don't do that, because I'm on here because I have fun, and I met all my friends on here. Like that's why I'm on Twitch. But when I stream, like that's kind of also why I like to be a variety streamer, because one, I'm not just playing one thing forever, but also because if I do get burnt out on it, like I won't feel like, I don't want to have to feel bad about not playing a certain game anymore, because there's a lot of viewers that would come in and be like, hey, you don't play this game anymore, like that kind of sucks. And I think that's the unfortunate part about like certain streamers that do like just stream Fortnite or just stream Apex.
I feel like if you stick to one game, you're slightly digging yourself in your own grave on Twitch anyway. Because like I know at least 10 different examples of like people from Tiff stream I don't see ever. I remember this one guy I didn't like. I don't remember his name. I think I know his real name, but I don't think I remember his Twitch name. But he solely only came around because you were playing the Dark Souls series.
I don't remember who you're talking about, so maybe you can message me later. But yeah, it sounds right. Like people will only come around for certain games.
And then like literally once she finished all those games, it was like never saw them again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of people who watch Dark Souls specifically. It seems
Yeah.
like there are streamers who play nothing but Dark Souls.
Yeah, and another reason for me why I like variety streaming is that I actually use it as a chance to play video games because, I have limited time. I have, I'm busy with school, I'm playing games, and then, so these stream games is an opportunity for me to try out games that I want to play. Like, for example, we're playing Borderlands 3 right now, me, Rory, and Morgan and Tater. That's a game that I really wanted to play, but maybe I wouldn't have enough time to play that while I'm playing, another game. So I use streaming as a way to play games that I just actually want to play too. I just use it as a gaming stream.
So I definitely have a question, Tiff, because how long exactly have you been streaming again?
It'll be 3 years in December.
So 3 years. That means that's a lot of games that you've played.
It's a lot of games.
She made a list in Discord of games she's played on stream, I think.
Mm-hmm. If I'm not sure if you would have one or not. But, what do you think so far has been your favorite game to play on stream? Even if you've played it before off stream, what do you think was your favorite one you've played on stream?
I don't know if I have a definitive favorite, but some definitely come to mind.
You could have, categories,
some that just come to mind, yeah.
Like, favorite with people, or favorite interactions, or favorite, solo, or favorite story. Like, you can think along those lines as well. So it might be easier than one definitive.
Yeah, so one thing for sure is that I would never play a horror game. Like, I don't like horror games, I get scared. But I've played a lot of horror games on stream because you guys like watching me play horror games.
Take notes, Morgan.
And so I've had so much fun playing horror games. Like, at the time, I'm scared shitless and I hate every minute of it. But I look back and I'm like, that was it's really funny because I'm scared and then the viewers in chat are trying to reassure me, and it's almost like you're playing this really scary game, but you have your friends there to watch you. So that's been a really fun thing that I've done, is play horror games on stream, because it's out of my comfort zone and it's something I wouldn't have done without stream. So I've really enjoyed my experiences playing some of those. I also really enjoyed playing Dark Souls on stream, because that's another game series that I don't think I would have played on my own, because I always thought it was too hard and I always would get lost. But when you're playing on stream, you have people there who can help you, which is always really nice. So those sorts of games where you kind of get that viewer interaction to help you through a game, I have really appreciated. So that's been some of my favorite sorts of games that I played on stream personally.
I have a question for everyone that Ray posted.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. So before you ask this one, I will ask Melissa this, because she's the only one who didn't really answer about the variety and stuff. So Melissa, I know you're playing a lot of The Witcher 3 because it's a massive game.
And an amazing game.
So you've kind of dipped into a, not rut, but you've kind of dipped into a one game.
Basically, I'm only doing Witcher
right now,
3 or Twitch Sings.
Do you think that has affected, or have you noticed any the changes to, as opposed to if you were doing variety of stuff, switching between Monster Hunter, Overwatch, Witcher, a Souls game or something? Do you notice any fall off, or?
There's been fall off. Actually, if anything, so what I've been doing lately with Witcher 3, which has been really fun, is so I got raided randomly by Pasta Disaster, who we met just last week. But so over the past couple weeks, I've just been trying to find other smaller streamers that are also doing Witcher 3 and just randomly raiding them, which is not something I typically do. Typically I like to raid people I've already watched or know, because it's kind of like a crapshoot if you're just going to randomly raid somebody. But it's actually been really fun. And then we've kind of been visiting each other's streams. Like, it's been actually a really cool way to connect to people currently playing Witcher 3 in a way that I haven't done before, just because mostly I have been a variety streamer. I think yes and no. Like, yeah, I may not be getting as many new people dropping in from who would be typically watching some other games, but in some ways it's like been really cool to connect with lots of other viewers and streamers who are like really into The Witcher 3 right now, 4 years later after it came out. So
I think a lot of people are gearing up for Cyberpunk.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. But Witcher's just a good game. Like, that kind of amazes me
It's
sometimes.
massive,
Like,
dude.
no.
That's gonna take you a long time.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me when there are certain games that people will just go back and play an immense amount of, or that are still playing it years later. Like, I think it's different when it comes to multiplayer games, because that's the whole point of the like the multiplayer aspect, is that you can just play it whenever and it's the same kind of thing. Like, so of course, like, people are playing Fortnite years later or playing Dead by Daylight years later.
Or like
but when
COD,
it's
'cause that's the same form.
Call of Duty, yeah, because it's the same thing. Or like the sports games, it's the same thing, you know. But for like big story-based games, that is really interesting to me sometimes. Like, that shows like how good that game really is, like The Witcher, or like I really want to play Spider-Man again, or like people are still playing Spider-Man a year later.
Skyrim.
And honestly,
Skyrim,
Yeah.
Skyrim is really good.
I just stream what I want to stream, and I stream what I want to play.
Mhm.
And so, like, I think if I were kind of getting fatigued with Witcher, I would definitely change it up. But I've just been loving it so much that I don't want to stop. So that's kind of like why I've just been playing it all the time. So, yeah.
Okay, so to get into what Rory was saying, which is something I was going to touch on later, Ray asks, do any of you ever feel pressure trying to juggle streaming, which can be time-consuming, and relationships with others? Not just significant others, but family, friends, etc.
So, in my own particular case, it's kind of the opposite, actually, because I met my girlfriend on Twitch. That's her right there in the. Hold on.
She's
I'm
center
actually going to
screen.
check.
And she's center screen.
She's in the center.
Just for you, Rory.
Rory is top left.
I'm top left. Yeah. So it's been like really the opposite for me, but also like just even beyond that, like a large majority of my close friends are people on Twitch, right? Like, you know, like I obviously have like a couple IRL people and stuff like that, but most of like, well, more than half of my social circle is contained on Twitch. So Twitch for me is a way to spend time with those people. Now that's not, you know, what everybody wants, because some people don't, you know, they want to be able to, you know, call up all their friends and go to the club or whatever.
Bowling alley. They want to go to the bowling alley and rope walk.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But you know, that's not the case for me. And I know some of you are in a vaguely similar position, at least in some cases.
Okay, so Tiff, do you feel a struggle to balance? Because I know right now, since you're back in school, it's definitely more of a struggle. Well, I don't know if struggle is the right word, but definitely more of a time crunch to do gaming, school, hang out with people.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, it kind of comes and goes depending on how busy I am, but I've 100% had issues balancing stream and real life. Like, because for me, like, Melly is, you know, she's like, I go live whenever I want to, and I love it. But for me, I'm just like a very organized person, and so I have these times where I plan to stream. But, you know, it takes up time. I do it 3 nights a week. When I was working full-time over the summer, I was working 9 to 5, streaming 3 nights a week. It leaves very limited time left, you know? So one night had to go to my parents. One night had to go to my friends. Like, you know, you run out of time. And so there has been times where I've had to say, hey, guys, I can't go out tonight. I really want to stream. And there has been times where I've canceled stream because I need to do something social. So it is a balance, but I mean, I guess everything in life is, you know, balancing work, and this is just another thing that you kind of balance, I guess.
I was gonna say that too, but
I was not. I didn't think spontaneous, guys. It's spontaneous.
Actually, that's the thing.
I goes live whenever. I'm more organized.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't mean that,
I do
Melly.
like
I did actually want to bring that up though, because like that's actually one of the things I really admire about your stream, Tiff, is that I think it was when I noticed it really when you posted your summer schedule. I was like, oh my gosh, he's got like the whole 3 months laid out, like the exact game and day and time. I'm like, I wish I could do that.
I've always said that too.
I really admire that about how
her do her
you
like
organize
notes on
everything.
iPhone and like 3 weeks out? She was doing that too and like listing everything. I was like, Jesus. I was like, I would just be like, we're gonna do this on this day and call it a day.
It's just who I am. Even when I'm making plans with my friends, they're like, "Hey, let's go to the park this weekend." I'm like, "What day? Afternoon? Evening?" Like,
Tiff,
I need to know.
I can confirm that Tiff will see things like a week and a half out. It'll be like lunch Monday, 12:40 or something like that.
You should see my phone. Like, it's just full. I just really like knowing where I'm going to be when. Like, I don't know. And then maybe that's why I'm in school and hopefully while I'll make a good lawyer because I'm just very type A. But
Hey, that's good though.
yeah, I
And
just
you know
like
what?
my shit laid out.
And that's how you're able to put together something like Tallara Con.
Yeah.
I was just
you're just like,
no
I planned
Bam,
that,
bam,
what,
bam,
in
bam.
August?
I know you had like the whole itinerary. I was like, this is what we're doing. We're doing this for fun. We're doing this at 7:00. I'm like, this is like 6 months away. How are you going to figure it out? I was very impressed by that.
And I was
Yeah.
gonna say that too, because like I was gonna say actually I was gonna use that exact word. I was like itinerary or itinerary for Tallaracon. But I think I talked to Rory about this the other day because I was like, I would love to have a schedule where like I have a time for when I go live. Like I wish I could be like Tiff, because like I mean, because like
We all
Rory,
wanna
like
be
you
like
have your
Tiff.
days.
well,
Because Rory, you have your days like that too, but like Tiff does have like
When,
her actual times. Like when she
Tiff
says
has actual hours. I have days,
Yeah,
but Tiff has like to the hour, which is very
yeah, like when
impressive.
Tiff says I'm gonna be on at 6 p.m. Like East, like that's when I'm.
she's gonna be
that's
on
when
6
Tiff is
p.m.
gonna be
East,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Unless
not gonna be
something
6:05.
drastic happens, and then it's like, all right, I'll be 15 minutes later
I-
or something, or I'll be
a
on
bit
there.
of real life lore though. So you may think that Tiff is the master of itineraries, but in reality, Tiff is actually just the best friend of the person who's the actual master of itineraries, because Tiff's best friend Bethany is like a god when it comes to planning things, and Tiff doesn't even come close. We're not talking
That's
times
scary.
and dates. We're talking paragraphs detailing the times and dates. They're very thorough.
Yeah, so for example, my best friend lives in Europe, and so I went to visit her there last month. Some of you guys saw I went on a little European vacay. And she sent me this email. I think I showed it to Rory or I explained it to him anyway, and I wish I could show it to you guys, but she was like, she just wrote this in the middle of the night. I woke up the next day and it was like, "Hey Tiff, here's some tips for your journey." And it was like, what to pack, what not to pack, where to be, how to get through the airport. Like, it was just like a whole list. And she was
Oh
like, "Can't
my
wait to see you." Like, she is wild. Yeah,
I can
like if
see
you
why
think
she's
I'm
going for
organized,
NASA. Like that's
yeah. Exactly. If you think I'm organized, she's next level.
Also, I want to point out that Beast said in here, Tiff will be like, "I want chicken nuggets in 17 seconds." you made chicken nuggets today on stream.
I did, and I ate them on stream. It was great.
What not to pack? I will pack what I want. Excuse me.
All right, so then
Sorry, I had a quick question. I was curious about this since you mentioned your friend. So you mentioned like your parents kind of still don't really understand what streaming was. What's it been like due to your closer friends? Like how have they kind of responded to?
I mean, they all kind of get it more because I don't know, younger people just understand,
Yeah,
more
they're, like,
about the
they're
internet.
more in the circle for like media and stuff, so like they'll know. Like you say, "Oh, I'm gonna be live on Twitch." It's like, "Oh, okay, they're streaming."
Exactly, and so
What's
my best
streaming?
friend Bethany, she isn't like a gamer, but so when I told her, she was like, "Oh, people do that?" I was like, "Yeah," but then she went to Twitch, saw it, and was like, "Oh, it's kind of like YouTube," and she gets it, she understands. She still thinks it is kind of funny because she's not a gamer, and she's like, "Wow, people actually tune in and like watch you," but obviously they understand it a lot better.
I'd be a little
than, say,
insulted
my
if someone
parents
said
do.
that to me, and they were my friend. I'd be like, "Why would you say this?" Like, what are you trying to say? Like, you saying no one's like, I'm not interesting?
What are you saying, Bethany?
Yeah. All right, so Morgan, how do you feel on Ray's question?
Can you repeat it, please?
It was about, do you think streaming
I can read the
takes
exact
up,
wording.
like,
I've got it in a text document here. Do you ever feel
You have it?
pressure
Jesus.
trying to juggle streaming, which can be time-consuming, and relationships with others, not just significant others, but friends, family, etc.?
Now, for me, like it's kind of the same situation with Rory. I mean, because like obviously I'm dating him, so but a lot of like pretty much all my best friends now are on Twitch. I really only had like one or two best friends growing up usually. And really like my IRL best friend, besides my cousin Thomas, because like I talk about him a lot. And he is, you know, I could consider him one of my best friends, but he also is like a family member. But like, so Cassie is my IRL best friend, and she's already on Twitch. She's also a streamer. And that's not because I met her on Twitch. FT, she likes to go by, guys. But yeah, like, so like for Cassie, like I had met her in high school. I mean, I had known her, I think, since junior high, but like I had gotten to be really good friends with her in high school. So like before we got like on Twitch or anything like that, like, you know, like I had already known her. We would go and hang out and do stuff together and stuff like that. But like now she's on Twitch. Like whenever I like post something in Discord, she's already there. And so then like all of you guys, you know, like you guys are like my best friends. So like I talk to you guys every single day. We play games every single day. I talk to Rory every day.
I'd
And
make the argument I'm probably your best friend now because I'm ranked number 1 in the channel. She isn't. And she knows you in
Are
real
you-
life, but you know.
You gonna go visit her?
That's
in 2
just
weeks?
me.
yeah, that's right. I mean, hey, you're gonna be seeing me within the next. Well, you're gonna be seeing me within the next month, though.
Yeah,
so.
before the year
Or no,
ends, I will.
2 months. 2 months. So, but yeah. So for me, like, you know, like my family members live in my house. So like, besides two of my brothers, but like JJ and his fiance, I see most days. Sean's over here all the time, anyways, because like he also works on cars. So like he's usually at my house no matter what, too. And my mom, you know, I live with my mom and my dad. One of my brothers lives here, so I see him every day. And then it's funny because like my brother JJ, I am in a group chat with him on Facebook. My brother, what are you guys doing? I swear. Oof, oh my god. And then my brother Mac and Thomas and I are in our own little group chat with each other. And so like that at the same time, like it's sometimes I'm not able to like actually go and physically see them. But I talk to them pretty much every day anyways, though, no matter what. So it's not actually that difficult for me. Now, in terms of going out, like, yeah, like that might, there's like juggling and stuff like that too. Which I think everybody, you know, everybody's going to have that. The nice thing about my best friends is that I can talk to them like through the device in my pocket. Yeah. So that's with me wherever I go, though. So it's not that difficult for me, but that's because with my situation, most of my friends that I talk to every day are online and on Discord and on Twitch. So it's not that difficult for me, at least.
I will say that.
Well, I was just gonna say because you know I'm gonna be able to see my boyfriend pretty soon, but like I can talk to him pretty easily and you know make plans just to go and see him. So it's not that difficult because I also just talk to him, but we also have a different situation because we're long distance. So, but yeah,
I feel like it's one of those things. It's like if you really want it to work, you will put in the effort and do it. Like how Tiff said that if she wants to go out with her friends on one night, she'll cancel a stream, but then she'll make it up later in the week because like that's something she wants to do, and she doesn't go out of her way to do it.
See,
it's all about balance, I think.
Yeah.
The difficult part with me is that my best friends all live far away from me. But I'm gonna be able to see one of them very soon, so I'm super excited about that. And then I'm gonna be able to see another one right after that. So that's
as this purple guy once said, everything's perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
This purple guy.
I will say I found myself a lot more like for those of you who know my situation, like I was doing full-time research for the past year, and now I'm taking classes for the next like 8 months, and then before I go back to full-time research. And I will say that being a student now, it's much harder to balance streaming, because being a student isn't on your own schedule. It's like when you have to go to class when there's class, you have to do assignments when they're due. Whereas being a researcher, you can drop anything at any given time of the day. And like not having that flexibility, I gotta say, streaming is really hard. So Tiff, I'm impressed that you do it while being in law school. I would not be able to do that at all.
Yeah, it can be tough, but you know, it's just about balance.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last piece is Melissa. I know you have a different situation because you do church stuff. You do like performances. You have hella roommates in your house.
I have a crazy life.
Yeah. So how do you feel about balancing? Like, do you find it easy? Do you find it slightly difficult because you have so many things going on?
It is difficult. Like part of that is like, again, like one of the reasons I really like appreciate the way Tiff runs her channel is like she is super organized, and like just because my schedule is fluctuating, like you guys know, like sometime I'll have to end a conference call like 8 o'clock at night or
Every Tuesday. Yeah. That's the
random evening meetings. Random evening meetings that get scheduled. Like I just am not able to keep a consistent all the time. Had a similar situation where like I had planned on doing a stream, and then like somebody of like sometimes it's my sister or a friend or someone would text me like, hey, we're like, are you doing anything? I was like, yeah, I'm streaming, and I still kind of feel some guilt about it in some ways because it's like I always try to balance it out. Like, so if I end up doing a stream, then I'll try to offset it by like, you know, not streaming and just hanging out with family and friends and doing all that stuff. But like, I do kind of feel like a guilt sometimes when I was like, is this wrong to like turn down hanging out with a family member or like a friend because I had planned on doing this stream? So no, I feel like I'm actually still kind of working through some of that, like on how to navigate.
I can only speak for myself in this.
Like, what was that?
I find like for people like when I have a friend who's like they're like I'm really impressed when I have friends actually who like do things like no, I can't hang out, I'm doing this, and it's like something they do consistently. Like I think that's actually good. I think that's valuable for people to have, right? So I wouldn't feel guilty. I think you know, if you're like IRL friends or anything like me, like they probably like appreciate that about you. But
funny story,
some
actually.
people probably.
For the first cast we were supposed to do, my friends were like, "Hey, are you doing anything on Friday?" It was like the Friday that we were supposed to start this.
Yeah.
And I was like, depends what time. And then they're like, oh, like later. It was gonna cut into this time, and I was like, no, I can't do it. And they're like, why? Are you doing something? I was like, yeah, but don't ask me what. And I was like,
like, so it sound even shadier.
They have an idea of like some stuff I do because I've sent them like they've seen my room and they've like seen like the setup, so they were like, oh, mic and like a camera and stuff. They're like, so they know I'm doing something on the internet. They don't know if I'm making videos or like, you know, whatever, but they know.
Wait, they don't. Oh, wait, hold on. No. I'm sorry. Are you serious?
Yeah, they don't know what it is I do specifically. They just know I'm doing something on the internet.
So there's a possibility that your friends think you're a porn star, is what you're saying.
I was just about to say that.
No, because they've seen my setup. They see a mic sitting right here, and like I'm not one, but like I don't know what you need to do that, but like I imagine you don't
a
need
microphone
a mic.
Can't hurt. Better audio. I'm sure better audio quality is not considered a bad thing in that community.
Oh my god. No, I actually just got reminded of something too. Now, one of the things that always does get like a little bad about like trying to juggle like online friends and then IRL friends. In my situation, it was just a person, but like with Cassie, she was like, it was like really easy with her. It's okay, yeah, we'll just hang out on a different day. But I've had it before though, where like I've said, hey, I've actually made a plan to play a game with some of my friends because that's the only way that I can hang out with. Like that's our version of hanging out, you know, because it's not like I can, you know, like calling up TS, you know, it's like it's not like I can just like call him up and be like, hey, you want to go hang out somewhere? It's like, yeah, give me like 20 hours, okay?
Yeah, like, give me 20 hours
and
I'll be
a
on the
bunch
next
of
flight.
money. Like it's not like I can do stuff like that. And I have had it before where like a friend will be like, and I can't say it like that. I can't say, I made plans to play Diablo with some friends, you know, because I've had it before where like a person will be like, well, you play games all the time. Like, can't you just do it another time? I'm like, I have to make a plan to play with some of these people, though. Like, especially with our more international friends who are like 9 hours ahead of some of us.
Ways in which I think
No, I
Discord makes that balance both harder and easier.
Mm-hmm.
Discord is just so accessible. So it's,
I think Discord is a nice app. Like it does like all in one inclusively, more or less. The only thing it really doesn't do is like teleport people to where you are.
Yeah.
Damn it, Discord!
So
Come on.
Discord, if you're listening, you need to work on that.
But it's by far the next, like, Discord, like, is the best at so many different things. Like, it's definitely the best voice chat service I've ever used. It's definitely the best video chat
TeamSpeak, you're
service
not
I've ever
paying for a
used.
server.
And me and Morgan have discovered it's the best, like, screen sharing service for movies as well. Like, that's how we watch movies together. So I recommend that, by the way, actually, over the other stuff.
Well,
like, we've tried to use Cast and stuff before, and we've had
Cast was something else. Melly and I tried to use Cast.
Yeah, Cast. Well, it didn't work for me. No. The thing is, like, I think Twitch helped us get. I feel like Discord helped us become friends. If that makes
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a little distinction there.
Yeah, because I feel like when it's Twitch, you have to, like, I'm gonna shout out a couple of people here. So like Ash, and Tracy Doll, and then like with Melly, like Melly and I would be hanging out. Like maybe sometimes like if Tracy is on, we'd be talking and hanging out in there. And like sometimes like when Ash would be on, we'd both be in the same channels also, And then obviously when she would be streaming, I would be in her channel and hanging out with her that way. But somebody has to be live in order for that to happen, Yes. Versus Discord has all these channels, like, and all these things. So like you can just sit and talk to somebody, like a bunch of people at the same time in a certain channel on Discord, or you can just DM them also. I mean, I know Twitch also has whispers, but whispers act kind of funny sometimes. So,
I mean,
like, I definitely
have them off because you don't want to get hate for like bans.
Well, Melly and I have had issues with wild, wacky people coming into our whispers. So.
Oh yes. Do you speak English? Do you like country music? And then no.
Are you single?
Yes.
Were those the three? Was that the three questions?
Those three questions specifically.
Yeah.
That was cool.
But yeah, like that really helps because like we'll talk about, because like every once in a while maybe it's like we're talking about something in a certain channel on like in a certain Discord, and like maybe we want to follow up and just talk to the person in a private message about it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
John.
Discord.
Yeah, by the way.
Yeah, Discord has definitely helped with that, I think, for sure.
John, we'll get to your question in 1 second. To expand on what Morgan said, I feel like the foundation is Twitch streams, and then the building and extension of that friendship or partnership or whatever is through other forms of media like Twitter, Instagram, Discord, following, whatever. So I think, if anything, Twitch is like the foundation for like bricks, and then if you were building a house, that all the other media would be the rest of it.
Like the rooms, basically. Yes. Yeah. I feel like most people who are Twitch streamers, who are at least like getting into Twitch streaming instead of just the people who have just started, I feel like most people tend to have a Discord, or they're in Discords, or they have a Twitter or an Instagram. For like, I think most people on Twitch have something along the lines of those, especially for streamers. Not just to stay connected to their viewers and everything too, but to stay connected to friends and everything that they meet on those mediums.
Definitely.
Okay, so John's question is...
That's a really good question.
With abundance of Discord communities, do any of you find it difficult to keep up with them, or do you feel overwhelmed sometimes by how many communities any one of you might be part of? Okay, so
Definitely.
I'm in over 30 different Discord channels.
Wow.
Yeah.
19 of those, maybe 20, sit in a folder that say never fucking touching.
Yeah.
So
they have to. I mean, that's the only way you can.
Like, if I sat there trying to interact in every single one of those, I'd lose guaranteed 2 hours.
Yeah. And what Tiff is saying, Tiff said earlier, which I thought was valid, is like there are these little sort of pockets of various streamers that are all interconnected. right? Where we formed like a little like community of streamers here. Like all of us know each other and all of us stream and such things, right? And there's like more people in that community. And for each sort of central node streamer that has one of those, let's say like Ash is like the central, like high centrality node of this graph. And we're all like connected to Ash, right?
Like
and
imagine like a web chart or something, and then like
A crazy red yarn wall, a crazy red yarn wall.
Yeah.
And then like it's like that in and of itself, that web of people is enough for Discord, let alone the fact that like earlier this year I found another web of people, and it's like and that's too many, right? Like the way too many.
That'd be the 6th degree of knowing. It's like, well, you know people, and then they know people, and then you find their people, and then it's like, all right, well, we need to stop this eventually, or else I'm gonna start knowing every single fucking person. And
exactly, yeah, you can make a nice little diagram out of it. I was actually gonna do that pen and paper, and I remember that I don't actually own a pen, so I couldn't do that.
But yeah, like I'm in quite a few Discords. I definitely have some that are muted.
yes, I mean,
You also
every
run
single
one
of them.
right?
I
So
do run one also, yeah.
that's got to be extra. Like you kind of have to pay attention to the Discord that you run. And what
Well,
people
so
are
like
saying in it,
nobody
right?
knows this, but I have one. And it's like there's like 6 people on there. It's a very exclusive one.
That's,
Wow.
I've never heard you mention it.
Yeah.
Should
well,
call
Me neither,
that-
and I also didn't get an.
You should call that Sugar Melly's Discord, right?
Yeah.
No.
I own a 51% share of that Discord.
But yeah, I mean, there's definitely some that I have muted just because I'm not in that community as much. Versus now, like some of them, I do get a lot of notifications because I am an active member in Cassie's, Paka's, Melly's, mine, Tiff's, and sometimes Ash's. So like that does get and you know, like now Ari has one too, and so that is kind of the hard part too. I do get a lot of notifications, and even then, like there's a bunch of them that I already have muted, which does make it a little bit difficult. So yeah, it can be a little bit overwhelming at times because I do want to feel like, you know, like I'm talking back to people and stuff like that, especially having a Discord, because sometimes it does feel like by default I need to just reply and say something. But so yeah, I do agree with that. Sometimes it is a tiny bit overwhelming. Yeah.
I think the other problem too is like with the accessibility and how easy it is to make one. It's just like there's gonna be so many more that you can join, and like some people it's kind of awkward if you're like sitting there like, oh, we do have a Discord if you want to join, and you're like, well, I'm in like 80,000, but all right, I guess I'll add yours too.
What's the cap on it too? Isn't it like 100 or something?
I know it's fairly large, but I don't know if like there's any crazy person who's like in the max amount and you could be.
If you're in 100 Discords,
you need
stop.
You need
right
to
away.
not. So Tiff,
I don't know what you do, but you need to be fired from
Tiff,
it.
offhand, do you know how many you're in currently?
Well, I'm looking at my Discord right now, so I can tell you. I'm in 1, 2, and this includes my own.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5? Damn, that's a
God.
simple life.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
that's
in
how-
24. I'm in 24.
That's how I control it. I'm in Melly's Discord, I'm in Morgan's Discord, I'm in my own Discord, I'm in Ash's Discord, and I'm in someone else that I know personally's Discord. Like, that's it. I can't
Hi,
talk in a
Muffin.
bunch of Discords. That's it.
Muffin's here, guys.
Is Muffin here?
He like climbed up on the couch. and
Our
was like,
special
"Ah."
guest has a special guest.
Oh
She's
my goodness. She's
here.
perfectly in the shot. Look
Yeah.
at her.
Sweet little Muffin.
By the way, Tiff, if I ever make a Discord, you're going to be joining it so you can feel the pain of being in more Discords.
Number 6. Yeah, no, like I honestly just can't juggle them all, and I'm not really interested in being in I only want to be like this Discord anyway. Like I just don't join a lot of Discords, and because it's hard to stay on top of it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually, at least for me now, especially, I mean, because I tend to only join Discords if I am like being really active in that particular
community?
Twitch stream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that
the
community.
same way. It's like
Then I
unless
will
I'm
join.
in there every time and like talking actively, I'm not gonna join it.
No, I've
Yeah.
made a lot of mistakes in my day joining too many Discords. I feel bad leaving.
Yeah,
I
because
wanna
then
be like,
you
all
do
right,
feel-
later. I don't want to talk to you guys again. And then if I come back, they're gonna be like, hey, Rory's back. That means he must have left. What an asshole.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like it's nice when we get the little notifications of people like, hey, blah 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 joined, but you
Yeah.
also get those blah 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 left, and it's like
not to
Super
call out
rock.
Trendic, because
Oh, yeah.
he does our music, and we started with a new music this time because he made us a new one specifically for us. But it was kind of a surprise when I saw him leave Ash's Discord, and I was like, whoa! I was like, all right.
But yeah, in terms for me, I just realized. So I counted mine out, and including mine, I am in 12. And
That's not too
I think I have like 3 or 4 of them. 3 or 4 of them are muted. But yeah, I mean, because I tend to post in other people's, and I tend to talk to other people. But then, like I said, I'm also very active in all of those communities. So that's the only time that I will, which I also do suggest to other people who are like new to Twitch and everything and new to Discord. Don't just be joining Discords.
Yeah, that's
you
an
know?
easy mistake you can make at first. You
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah,
Mistake, yeah.
exactly. Yeah. If you ever want to confuse and mildly irritate people, one of the things you can do is go back to old Facebook group messages that you're in and just leave them, because then everybody gets a message.
Yeah.
In the group. You're like, what the hell? This is from 2014.
Yep.
And we plan an evening out.
John said, do you guys get offended if someone mutes your Discord? No, I would not be offended by that. I can understand,
Me
like,
neither.
sometimes maybe you're not that active in my Discord, for example, and you're more active in other people's Discords. Like, that's completely fine. Like, I don't mind that at all. I mean, because how can I be offended
It's
by
a
people doing that
sentiment
to
You're
mine?
joining and you haven't left, but you're still like part
Yeah.
of it. You can check on
Yeah,
it
'cause,
every
like-
so often.
Yeah, because like you can still go in there and check on it. It's not gonna tell me if people mute it anyway, so it's not like
That would cause
I can.
so many problems with Discord. It's like, this person hasn't looked in
Yeah.
your Discord in 78 days and 80
Yeah.
minutes, and then this is like, whoa. Like,
And versus also like I can't be offended when somebody would do that in my Discord when I do that in other people's Discords. So like I can't really, and I don't want to be offended by that just because, you know, like people have other things that they're doing. They have other people that they're talking to and stuff like that. So that's okay. At least for me, but that's just me.
so I think we all feel the same way about what I'm about to say about this, but if you're in a lot of Discords and you know a lot of people in those Discords, like, so for example, we're all on Tiff's Discord, we're all on Melly's Discord, and we're all on Morgan's Discord. It can get not annoying, but like it can get like bothersome that the fact that like, say like you post something in one of them and then like you post something immediately in the other one and then the other one, and it's all the same thing. It's like, all right, well, I had to check 3 different Discords to look at the exact same message
That
from the
Beast
same
posted,
post.
yeah.
It's supposed to be
I
Beast.
didn't want to call out Beast,
Are we
but
calling him out right now?
this is where this was headed. So Beast, that wasn't me, that was Rory that time.
Oh, feels bad, man.
Like you'll
We
get
love you,
like,
Beast.
depending on who's in each like Discord, you're gonna get different reactions and responses based on
Yeah.
it. So like I kind of get why he does
I
it.
get why
'cause
you
it's like,
do it, but at the same
Yeah.
time, being somebody who's seeing you in like 6 different Discords, it's like, here we go again. This guy posting in every fucking Discord. And like, all right, we get it. Like, you can also be guilty of that, and then you won't realize it. It's like people who like drive, don't use
Totally.
turn signals, and then like get mad at people who don't use turn signals. It's like, you're in the problem that's adding to the problem. So, almost, how many Discords are you in? Do you know offhand, or?
I just counted them. 24.
24? Jesus. All right. I think
Wow.
I need to leave some, because I think I'm almost at like 40.
Oh, okay. Well, I went wow for Mel. That's like. Wow.
There's a couple that I know I just need to, but some of them it's just like in there, or I don't know. Like it's hard to. Most of them muted.
Honestly, that's
the
what
core ones.
stopped me from making a Discord for this specific channel. I was going to, for like things that we could talk about, like news if like people in chat wanted us to focus on specific topics.
I was kind of thinking about that.
Yeah, we should add a podcast. We can add
we can
podcast.
do
What I was
that in
thinking-
somebody's Discord, but like
Yeah,
I didn't
what I was
wanna-
thinking.
The only reason I didn't want to do it in somebody else's because I didn't want to take away from their Discord and make it like, okay, now this is half the podcast Discord and half your Discord, and like
I had a spot in mine. That's fine.
Yeah. So then like, I didn't want to make one for this just because I know a lot of people were like, I'm already in like 8 Discords or like 18 or whatever. It's like I really don't want to join another because I've done that a lot where like people are like, oh, just join the Discord. I'm like, yeah, but no, not really.
Yeah.
Well, and see, what I was kind of thinking of was just making like a channel in one of the categories that was just podcast questions, and I thought that would probably be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, we could do that in like mine and Melly's if you guys want to. I mean, that'd probably be easy.
I'll put it in mine too.
Instead of
and
just
the
making a
6
whole one.
people who don't know about it can be like, what the fuck is this?
If you, also, can I recommend some strategies? So I've been using Discord for a really long time, and I've developed what I call the family dinner strategies, which are there's certain channels you have to mute because you do not want to open them at the dinner table with your family.
AKA anything Beast posts.
Yes, that's why. So when I made that not safe for work channel, I was like, I'm never coming in here because like you guys.
That channel is not safe for your life.
Here's the best part is that the Not Safe for Work channel is in my channel, and I haven't opened it in months. I don't know what's
in it. I'm scared to
the
open
Wild
it.
West.
I created
Oh my
it
god! One day,
and then immediately
was
muted
Also,
it.
the spoiler channel too.
I
I'm
was
scared to
just-
go in there.
one time I was just joking about like I'm gonna go see what's in there, and Rory literally was, "Don't do it for the love of God."
Slam on the table. No, stop. Don't.
It's just for your own protection, really. And it's like, you know, that's just like, that's actually important, and that can also cut down. Like if you don't mute a whole server, but if you mute like a channel that is like, I'm never gonna check this channel because it's about something weird.
Like for me, instant mutes for channels are food. And like pictures or something. 'Cause, like I don't give.
And I imagine you have all the weeb stuff channels muted as well, Trevor.
Those are the 3 that immediately get
God.
muted.
You know what's
Pictures
funny
of
too?
Weeb
kale.
shit,
It's all
food,
pictures of
and pets.
kale.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait, Trev, have you actually gone into the Weeb stuff one on mine?
No.
Okay, I'm asking you to do this for me. Go to the Weeb stuff one and look at what like it says the channel is for. I need you to do this for me, okay?
Is this gonna be like calling out for me? 'Cause I feel like this is
Just
where
do
this
it.
is going.
Yeah.
Hashtag not okay. All right.
Yeah, fair enough. The that also works, by the way. Like, there's like, so the reason I developed this strategy is because I was in a group chat with some friends of mine, like a Facebook Messenger group chat. I keep forgetting that Messenger is a Facebook thing because I just use Messenger really, and less so Facebook. And people in the group chat had nicknames. And I was like sitting down with a friend, and my phone went off, and my friend picked up my phone and said, "Oh, like who's sending you a message?" Which, first of all, is very rude to do.
Yes.
And
I was just about to say, who does
Like,
that?
someone in the group had nicknamed one of my friends, and I quote, and I'm sorry you have to hear this nickname, DJ Anus Madness. and she was like, she just like stared at it. She was like, huh, and like put my phone down. And I was like, oh no.
Now they're
Oh,
like,
man.
What happened at a family dinner?
they're literally sitting there, probably like, are you actually like a programmer, or like is that your cover story? Like, are you out here like?
No, so literally, I actually have a story like that too. So, my cousin Thomas, and I don't watch too much, but loves like.
Where is
YouTube
this
stuff.
going?
What? No, don't worry. I don't watch too much of these guys, but like he loves like the YouTube guys that like Oni plays, Best Friend plays, and he really likes Game Grumps, and my brother really liked Game Grumps, and I'll watch it every once in a while. There was a thing one time, I can't remember what the video was even about, what they were playing. All I remember is that there was a line where they like one of the guys literally says something like, what was it? They're just a bunch of poopy dicks like that. And I don't know what made me do it. That's my cousin's like name in my messenger. That's just his name on there. That's Thomas. He's just poopy dick. And I don't know why. My dad was on the computer one time when I still had like my Facebook open, and he sees this person pop up and text me, and he's like, "Who is this person?" And I'm like, "It's Thomas." Calm down.
So like, who are these weird fucking people you're talking to? Like, no, that's Thomas. Like, oh, what?
Oh my god. Jesus. But yeah, so.
I could be wrong. Melly, did you say you have to go in like 3 minutes?
No, I can flex a little bit. I'm having fun. I just might regret it tomorrow morning.
Oh,
You can sleep on the plane. That's what it's for. As long as you don't
Yeah, I
have
can-
kids.
Yeah,
Kids on
I'll
a
be
plane
fine.
are terrible.
Snakes on a plane are also terrible.
Evidently, yeah.
I saw a whole movie about it.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson had to really
Someone
deal with it.
nicknamed me Thomas the Spank.
Before he was working for S.H.I.E.L.D., he was like, I'm sick and tired of these fucking snakes. Like, I'm going
that's
to work
right.
with superheroes. Okay, so...
Real quick, I didn't want to miss this question because this is from like 25 minutes ago.
Okay, yeah,
But I
yeah.
remember seeing it. I don't know if you saw this question. So this came from Tater. I don't know if he's still here.
Yeah, he's...
Theaters hear you.
Are creepers or shitty people coming into stream? I know that Ash has a tendency to tell them to pump the brakes, call them out and whatnot. Other than banning or cleaning, / best ways for dealing with trolls or creepers?
If it's a channel that I don't mod for, I feel like it's for those people to answer. Because, like, if I see anything, like, just anything... Like, you can ask Zeus earlier. Like, it was just instant. This one guy, I was like, no, you're out.
Yeah, well, Trev, here's the thing is that we didn't even really talk about that, is that, yeah, Ash is very different, and, like, Ash will call people out, and I love that. When I'm sitting at home watching, I'm like, ooh, you know, like, and I love
She goes
Oh
full
my God.
screen.
I love it when she stops
so
and goes
good at it,
full
too.
screen and calls them out. She's great. And the thing is, if someone was like very directly like vulgar and rude towards me, maybe I would do that. But when people are just being weird and annoying, I don't know what to do a lot of times. So my reaction is to just ignore, and that's my thing.
That's
and
fine.
Today there was someone in my chat who he wasn't being vulgar or rude. He was just annoying.
Yes.
So I just ignored him. And he was like spamming, and I was just like, can't see you. And I was actually very grateful that Trev finally stepped in. Like, I don't want him to, I don't want you to step in like right away because some people are just chatty, and that's
why
fine.
I gave him
Yeah.
like 3 warnings, and then after the third one, I was like, all right, and I was like, no.
Yeah, exactly. But when they start to push too far, like I don't know. I find it difficult sometimes to know how to deal with those sorts of people. So I do appreciate it when Trev steps in.
See, that's the great thing about having mods, especially having a mod like Trev, because
So this, I guess the question should form into, before I was modded in your guys' channel, how did you deal with the weird shit that people often come into?
well, I
For
didn't
me,
really
like,
have
instant,
to.
like-
I didn't really have to be honest, because most of the people that came into my channel were all like my friends already that I had known, so they weren't acting like weirdos. And then I think like you came in one time, Beast was talking about something. He's like, "Oh look, finally a channel that Trev isn't a mod in," and I
Beast was
I
talking
modded
shit, and then that's
and
why.
I modded Trev despite me, and that's how he. That's
Just
how he is a
despite
mod in
Beast.
my channel. So
I think I remember, Trav, I modded you because I had an unspoken rule in my channel about not mentioning Speedo Chad from Friday the 13th.
yeah, I wasn't there that one time.
And I had like a viewer who's like, he's still dropped by and he's cool, but like he kept
I
bringing
remember
this,
that, yeah.
he kept bringing this up, and I'm like, listen, I have this to escape from having to deal with Speedo Chat in another channel.
Mm.
So I immediately modded Trev because I was like, just handle this.
Trev told me to mod him before I started, so I modded him.
And I want to make this known to everybody. When Rory was talking about starting streaming, it was in Tiff's chat, and then I told him, okay, all you need to do is mod me, and then you're good. And then
We were
literally
playing
like
the division together.
literally
right? Like,
everybody in the chat was like, don't do it, it's a terrible idea. And then I'm pretty sure Tiff was like, yeah, this is how your channel gets like dictatorship or some shit. And I was just like, whoa.
yeah, they
And
and I
fucking
modded
respect
Morgan
I don't get.
to protect Morgan from Trev's sort of bad cop
balance,
modding
and,
approach.
balance and the force. Yeah.
I don't think we needed it. I think we would have been fine with just the one mod, but
I mean, hey, who is the one that made all of the commands?
And the emotes.
Well, to be fair, I
did
can't be
make
up
the
at
emo.
3 in the morning talking in a Discord call when you guys are setting up bots.
He didn't do that though when because I think he did that just on his own, and then I actually was like like as he was streaming, I was making all of the commands.
The only one we ever see get used is quick save.
He's up to like 70 something for that now.
And you
That
and we
one
haven't
stream, he got to like 54 or something.
it
yeah,
was 68.
sticks.
68 in one like how long was that stream? Wasn't even that long.
It was
2-3
like
hour stream.
2 hours
Yeah, it
or
was like
something. Yeah.
relatively short.
My god. But yeah, like at least for me now, like I feel like anytime there's like a serious like weirdo in the chat, Trev's really good at just taking care of it like that.
There's a reason he's a mod in a lot of channels.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's
Really
just used
good
to
at
it.
It's just like the experience that's come with like being on Twitch for such a long time. Like, so I've been on Twitch since Arkham Knight came out, and slightly before that. So that was at least 2016 or something.
2015 maybe?
2015, I think.
I think it was 2015 because I think The Witcher was right around there. Good
Too
night, good
bad
night,
Bleez
Lonnie.
isn't here.
Night,
This is
Lonnie.
the one time Bleez could answer this, but yeah, I think it was 2015.
It's just the one time Bleez could answer this. Is that the only
Yes.
question Bleez can answer?
Yeah, because he would know when
That's
his
the
game
only
came
one,
out.
just that one.
I think it was like September 16th of 2015 or something.
No, it was
along those
June.
lines.
June 23rd.
June, okay. So yeah, I'd been on Twitch for at least like 4 years. So like modding isn't something I've done the entire time I've been on Twitch, but I think Ash modded me the first time like 3 months into it. So, and then I lost it and then I got it back, but
That sounds like a good story.
no.
Yeah, I was just about to say, there sounds like a story behind that one.
So I actually lost it because she didn't know me super well at that time, and then I was using it to abuse power, and then she took it away, and then I came back, and then I got it back after I started knowing her super well.
But yeah, I think I take one from Tiff's book, and usually like I'm fortunate enough that I have not gotten like super like creepy weirdos like active in my chat.
You get those at GameStop, so I mean.
I just get those ones at GameStop. I sure do. But at least I don't get like the really creepy ones actively like talking in my chat, which is nice. Maybe that's because of the games I play. I really don't know. I mean, I really don't know what exactly goes into it. Maybe I'm just fortunate enough.
I also feel like it's largely for like IRL.
Yeah. And what I usually do is like if I get like the occasional weirdo, I just tend to ignore them. I'm like, oh, okay, neat. And then I just go back to doing whatever else. And then usually what I actually do is I maybe say something about like, oh yeah, cool. And then I like, because I'm kind of acknowledging it instead of just completely ignoring.
Yeah.
And then what I do is I just go on right to the next comment or to the above comment, and I'll start commenting on that, and then it kind of goes from there. Oh boy.
I kind of do the same thing. I do similar.
Tiff got an interesting one once. A guy hitting on her in French.
All right,
French,
because
yeah.
I had to
It was
whisper
messaging
Roy.
me,
I
and
was
Trev was like, "What's
Roy,
it saying?"
what does
like,
this
help,
mean in
like-
French?
yeah, so we could figure out if it was creepy or not. It was, by the way, if you were.
And
wondering.
again, my tactic: ignore. If you don't give them the time of day, they'll leave. Like they're not gonna sit there and be like, "I love
Yeah.
you," and
Yeah.
get nothing.
Well,
Like,
no,
they're
you
gonna
don't
move
know
on.
G's. No, you do know G's boy.
I was there for G's boy, for some of G's boy.
Is that
yeah.
a rapper?
No, no.
Cool.
It's some dude in Ash's chat
Cheese-
who like
The
convinced
cheese
himself
one has the
that
whole
like,
PDF.
he convinced himself that Ash loved him and only him.
Oh,
And like
was he wrong?
every message in Discord from him was just adding Ash with a bunch of heart emotes afterward.
Very weird.
It was very.
He also
strange.
really liked Drake.
Yeah.
Oh,
Trivia. Random.
Oh no! What John said was I can get really weird, but I respect individual streamers and their community's comfort zone. I know for sure. Like I've definitely seen a couple of viewers who will come in and their thing is that they're kind of weird, and like sometimes sometimes I'm okay with that too. One time, not to like call anybody out or anything like that, so I won't say like names, but like one time my brother.
It doesn't matter.
one time my brother was watching, and he was like, "What's this one guy doing in here? Like, he's acting really, he keeps saying weird things." I'm like, "That's just like, I know who that is. Like, they're in a whole bunch of other channels too. Like, don't worry about it. That's just their thing."
Because they're fucking weird.
Mr. Gorg. Well, it wasn't, but yeah, like, and he was like, to somebody who was outside of it, was like, obviously, because my brother was like, why is this person acting so weird? Why are they saying
it's
so many
obviously
weird things?
super weird if you don't know these people and like don't know like how they are normally. And it's like it can be like a little like taken back, but if you're around these people all the time, it's like, oh, that's just who they are.
Yeah, like versus if somebody just walks into a random stream and starts acting like really creepy, it's like, yeah, okay. Like, okay, I don't want to call out Beast, but sometimes Beast will do like weird things. He'll be like, stab,
I'm so sorry, Beast. We do love you.
Wait, hold on. No. We can call it Squirrely.
Oh,
Let's
right.
yeah,
that's a better.
I already did it.
Well, all right.
You gotta finish your sentence.
Beast got called out twice this stream. Well, no, 3 times. I did call him out.
Third time.
Yeah,
See,
this
like
is the third time.
to somebody who's new to the stream, somebody would probably come in and see Beast like talking about repeatedly stabbing some character named Goro. They'd probably be like, "What is wrong with this person?" But it's like, I know what he's talking about. I know that it's a Persona 5 reference. I know he's just being funny. I do weird shit in a funny way, damn it. Yeah, like, and honestly,
funny.
Debatable, I guess, and according to Trev. But according to Trev. But like, I think it's just I really think that it just comes down to the actual streamer, because most of the time when you're doing something weird to be funny, because like that's what like how to actively do that. If you can read how the streamer is, obviously then you can be like, okay, I'm gonna dial it back now because obviously they don't really like this.
I think that's a big part of it. It's like getting a feel for the atmosphere of that like channel and stream. It's like, because like when I first came into Tiff's chat, I wasn't like who I am now. Like I was like very like respectful and like not to say I'm not now, but I was more like playing on the safe side. I would just like come in and be like, oh yeah, not like that's like I think I was watching her play Dark Souls and I was like, oh yeah, like I didn't want to come in and like immediately try to backseat or something and like be that guy who was just sitting there like, oh, you need to do this, this, and this. I would just be like, oh, I'd be like there for support and like, oh, you almost got him, like this and that. Like now I can just be like, wow, you should try like hitting him or like being better. Like I don't know.
Yeah, don't be sorry.
Because we've gone to that level, like because I've known her for like a year, almost 2 years. Is it 2 years? I want to say the sub thing was. Now. Yeah, it's around 2 years.
Close on it anyway.
Guys, can I just say that Muffin just did a little stretch?
Did she?
She did.
Also, Cassie's here. Hello, Cassie.
Okay, so everyone earlier, the person Morgan was talking about, that's 2-finger typer in the chat.
She's FT.
No, and then I also did see this thing that Ash. I'm believing it was Ash. It's like 99% Ash. She retweeted. Some other streamer said, "Don't be afraid to ban people if they get too weird or something." It was like it was a whole like criteria of like you shouldn't be scared to like I don't know the mindset of people like who stream and are like, oh, I don't want to try to ban people or like I don't want to try to time people out. It's like I'd rather do that immediately and then let other people know if like they're in the shadows.
I think we have a visitor.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
So it would deter
if I was watching
like
you do
weirdos.
that, I'm like, please, Muffin.
Here she is.
All right, I'm
Hi,
putting Discord
everybody.
full screen just for this.
Oh my goodness.
This is our sixth
Me
guest of the evening.
Look at her.
You don't want to leave yet. You just got here. Hi, everybody. I hate this so much.
So cute.
Oh.
Tiff,
She's
it is an
so
injustice
lovely.
that I didn't get to meet Muff, by the way. I have to meet Muff in
Oh. Yeah, you will meet Muffin soon. Okay.
Guys, this is actually the one who does play the games. It's not Tiff. It is actually Muffin.
It's actually Muffin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
Trev.
no. So I don't know how you guys felt at first when you started like streaming and stuff, but I know a lot of people who like try not to like ban people or like time anyone out or because they think that looks very like I don't know,
Antagonistic.
yeah, like antagonistic. So then like it deters from people like talking like they didn't think they were doing anything wrong. But like you all know I'm a firm believer in like once someone steps over the line even a little bit, it's like immediately just like
Yeah.
or like banned or whatever. So it's like I feel like that's better than just letting stuff run and then getting to a point where it's like, well, after the 80th message, now I have to do something I'm supposed to like stop it then and getting rid of it.
Yeah, I think that's why
immediately.
mods are good, because you can like sort of delegate that responsibility to the mods, and like you won't have to feel bad about banning people. You can just notice that Trev is banning.
And then
Exactly. I
plus
can
like
just be like, if you have issues, direct them to Trev.
See, there's
Plus-
been times, which let me give a shout out to my friend Cassie. But like
Two-finger typer?
yes.
Snap.
Tub, as some call her. With Cassie, when she was like, especially when she was kind of starting out, she was playing Final Fantasy X, and so she was getting a couple of people from that were Final Fantasy fans and stuff like that. So she was getting quite a few people coming into hers, and at times she'd be like, "I'm getting like," I could tell that she was getting frustrated with some of the people that were coming into her stream and like saying things, and she didn't want to say anything, or they would say something that would definitely be over the line, and I would know because I'm one of her best friends because I know her very well. But like as a mod, I can be like, that's over the line, and I am a mod, and I'm going to step in and I'm going to say, no, we're not doing that today, or you're not going to talk like that in this channel. Sorry. So it's not the streamer that's having to throw down like the ban hammer or anything like that. Like at least like they can have a problem with the mods. Like I'm okay with that as a mod. I'm just fine with that.
Me too.
Well, if you have a problem with me about that, like I'm the one that did it, so don't blame the streamer, blame me. But yeah, like I definitely agree with what Trev was going with, because like honestly, I know some people would say like, oh well, if you go into that channel and you say something off-putting, you're just gonna be banned. It's like, okay, then just don't say things that are off-putting then.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
And like I've been modding for a long time. Like I've almost like 4 years. So like I can see a lot of people who are potentially gonna be a problem, and then I can just take care of those. Like for example, there was a couple times where I think it was I want to say it was Tiff stream that like people came in and it was like account made an hour ago. I was like, all right, this guy's gonna be a problem. And then like sure,
Yeah.
2 minutes in, it's like this guy was being fucking weird. I was like, all right, gone. And then like the next person would come in, I was like, oh, it's this guy who made a new account, and it's like, all right.
Was it like it was a Nash's channel? There was a Rebecca, like
Yes,
13?
I remember that.
I miss Becky.
Yeah,
Becky, yeah.
Rebecca
So
would come in
much.
and like spam a bunch of shit, and then like we just had to ban them all the time. I was like, what
And there's
the
Rebecca 3, then Rebecca 3, then Rebecca 4, then Rebecca
See, and we
5.
knew the thing is that we knew it wasn't bots.
Yeah, it was
because
somebody
a person.
physically doing it because we asked
Yeah.
them questions, and then like then they replied, and we're like, what?
I
the
can
fuck?
remember because at one point one of them was something like I'm back, motherfucker, something like
Yes.
that. So we knew.
Yes, that
We
is.
knew.
That was
was
bar none
them.
the strangest thing I've ever heard Morgan say.
But like we knew that it was like that person again.
I think a lot of the people in chat know what we're talking about too. I think most of them were there for that.
Yeah.
I went back and watched that so I could find out after I was
Interesting. But like when we know stuff like that, like we knew that at that particular time that was not just a bot, that was a person that was coming in and trolling. Like
Yeah.
I can always tell. I think Melly tends to get these ones a lot for some reason.
The
The
Nemo
bots
one?
where
Oh no, the one that's like, oh,
don't get
I
me
like
started
Yeah.
on the
the
Nemo one.
game. Like I'll make you.
Yeah, they'll say your
panels
title.
And, what you call it? Rory's been there.
Yeah,
for
they'll
that.
say your title. Yeah, they'll say your title, and then they'll be like, "Okay, great, I'm gonna make you panels and overlays." Like I always know, like
Yeah,
obviously
except
that's just
not
a
near
bot.
that coherent of phrasing.
Yeah,
It's like, your
it's
channel are
Yeah.
good. I make panel, yes.
It's like, all right,
Yeah,
unless
like-
this is some foreign dude who's like trying to like learn English and just be really nice, like they're getting screwed.
Yeah, if that is it, I feel real bad.
Because it's not like it's a one-time thing. I think that happened once like 4 or 5 times.
It happened.
Yeah,
the
it's
other
happened
day.
a number of times.
Yeah, it happened. It happened last time I streamed.
Also, can I just also
Later,
give
Tater. It
a
was
shout
good
out?
having
Night,
you.
Tater.
Good night, Tater. Can I also just give a shout out to the poor person named Melissa who is banned in every single channel that Trev mods for?
Almost guaranteed Morgan or Melissa are banned in some channel.
Yep.
So
I feel
whoever
bad for
has
those
that
people.
name won't be able to talk. It's like they randomly discover these channels. They're like, why can't I talk? And it's
like, damn, they already hate me. I'm out of here. But honestly, but I feel like it's fine if you have to have that mentality about like, listen, if you say like there's like a 2-strike rule. Like if you say one off-putting thing, you're gonna get timed out.
2-strike rule.
Like I know that there's like a 3-strike rule for some people too. It's like
mine's just one.
Like yours is just one. I feel like that's a good way to be. Like for me, it probably would be like with those kinds of like a really off-putting comment. For me, it probably would be the 2-strike. It'd be you're getting timed out for that. Don't say anything like that again. You're gonna get banned after. And then like that's like some people might think that's a problem. It's like, well, you come into that channel and you're just gonna get banned if you say something bad. It's like just don't say bad things. Just hang out like a normal person. Have some common sense. It's not that hard.
Well, there's also the other side where it's like, so I feel super bad for Ash for this every single time, but like whenever she starts a new game, it guarantees gets spoiled within like the first 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I remember playing God of War because we were all playing it, so I was playing at the same time, and then she was playing it. Within like an hour and a half, someone comes in and spoils the ending, and then like we're like, what the fuck? And then same thing happened with Uncharted 4, and then same thing. People tried doing that with The Last of Us when she was replaying it.
Mm-hmm.
It happened with Batman.
Arkham Knight.
Yeah, Arkham Knight, and then I think it happened with Red Dead Redemption 2. So essentially, it was just like every new game that she was playing that was semi-recent, or if she put like blind or like first time, someone was coming in and just like telling them that, and I was like, why?
Yeah.
Jem, you say I'm a very strict person. I give
like
one warning when people say or do something. See, that's how I am too. Usually, I'll be like, listen, I'm like, stop doing that. Like when it's other things like spamming or like I'm gonna say like in Tracy's channel, because Melly and I both mod in there, and we've definitely seen ones where like people will get angry about something, or like they'll say something that's probably kind of racist or probably kind of sexist, and it'll maybe get timed out, and so they'll be like, or they'll.
It's just we add a counter to the hate crime.
Exactly.
But like we had one guy in there.
This is my favorite clip.
We had one guy. That's the one that I was thinking of too with Ash. That's my favorite clip now too.
That one. Yeah.
I've got to watch this. I don't know this.
Well, so we had somebody in Tracy's not that long ago that made I'm not gonna say it, but it was a pretty racist comment.
Was I there for this? Was this the one that I was?
You were there for it, yeah.
Okay.
And they made a pretty racist comment, and I believe it was Tracy that actually was the one that
The whole class goes down.
The whole class goes down. That's my favorite part of that too.
I am obsessed with that girl. That is hilarious. Fuck.
But so he was making this pretty racist comment, and it wasn't even any of the mods that did it. Tracy was the one that saw it right away, and she's like, nope. And she was the one that deleted it. And so after that, especially, I was like, well, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this guy. And then he started doing it again, and he kept getting deleted, and he kept getting mad about it. And so like at one point we'd have to be like, enough, knock it off. So I think when it's a little bit different in some people's channels, like Tracy, for example, usually is like, don't ban right away. You know,
certain people don't condone, like they're like, oh, just give them a chance, and like other people are like, nah, like they fuck up.
Usually the way that I am, because I think it depends on the channel that I mod for. Usually that's like, I think it just depends. For Melly, usually I'm like, hey, you know, like knock that off. You're gonna get timed out if you do this again. And if you are doing it one more time, I'm gonna ban you. Knock it off. Versus like for Tracy, usually she's like, yeah, don't do a ban right away. So usually I think what we tend to do is I'll be like, take a nap, and I'll actually time them out for like 15 minutes, because then they can't say anything. That's usually what I do.
I also want to share that after being called out for being racist, that person said that political correctness was the death of society.
Wow. That guy is fun at parties.
Oh, yeah.
I've not seen that guy since, also.
Yeah, me neither, yeah.
Boy. But yeah, like, for stuff like that, I think that sometimes like people just need to relax, you know? Like I don't know why people think that it's funny to come into people's channels and just like say like really nasty
I think
stuff.
it's mainly
you know?
like children, like 12-year-olds.
Usually it's children.
who think it's cool to like come on and just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this because I can't do it in like life.
I think sometimes it's just people also that want to get a reaction out, and that's why the mods are there to be like, stop, and then if you do it again, it's just going to be a full-on ban. You're not going to be able to come back in here. Go on to the next one, you know? And I think that's fine to have those kinds of rules, you know? Like, I think honestly, now that I think about it, I think people try to say that it's too, like, if you do that in your channel, then you're still serious, or you're too serious, I should say. But I think that's fine, to be honest. Like, if you need to be a little bit serious in terms of that kind of content, it's like you don't want that in your chat, then yeah, like you probably should be banning people, and you know, then people will come in here and be like, okay, I'm gonna be on my not best behavior, but you know, be on have a decent amount of behavior, you know. Let's go for alcohol. What's your favorite animal?
Spiders.
Cats.
My favorite animal is definitely a cat. I'm gonna give you my spiel actually about why cats are so great. So I love dogs. Don't get me wrong. If there's a cute little pupper, I'm like, pupper. But when you pick up a dog, they're firm. They're solid. You pick them up. When you pick up a cat, it's like picking up something between a solid and a liquid. They just kind of floop. They're like, I can do anything to Muffin, and she's just like, bleh. She's very squishy. She can loaf.
She looks like a loaf of a cat.
They're just
and like the floaty things.
Cats are some sort of gelatinous form that I really appreciate.
So Gorg has his question. He said, Tiff, I asked this in the beginning-ish. Do you feel any pressure representing the great nation of Canada on Twitch? LOL.
Well, it's actually one of my favorite things is being Canadian and everyone going, oh, you're Canadian! And then the really funny Canadian jokes and me answering back. Oh, eh? It's great, and I love being Canadian. We're having Tallara in Canada, and I'm hopefully going to get all these Americans to come on up to Canada, show off the great Canadian culture. I love it. I love my country, and I love to show it off to you guys.
And then, Ray said the question was for everyone, so I'm going to go around because I think I know most people's. Melissa's is giraffes, Rory's is octopuses, Morgan's is, I want to say cats as well.
Mine are cats, yeah.
Yay!
10 out of 10 mod, guys.
And honestly, I hate animals.
11 out of 10
friend.
So, Ari, most Canadians don't sound Canadian is like kind of true. It depends on where you are in the country. Like, you'll actually get like stereotypical Canadian accents if you live where I live. But there's different Canadian accents, not with the diversity that there's American accents, but like Tiff knows, because me and Tiff are both from Newfoundland, that Newfoundland has its own accent that's zero like the rest of the Canadian accent. So are Canadians obsessed with maple syrup? Is that a real thing? Yep.
Oh, we love us some syrup.
Yeah, true story.
Rory loves it so much he puts it on grilled cheese, which isn't bad actually because I tried it, and
it's not
also
bad.
Morgan has as well.
Don't use American cheese though, because that's a sin.
Yeah, Morgan's an honorary Canadian. She's been officially inducted into the Hall of Honorary Canadians.
So
the Hall of Fame.
Tiff, Zeus had a question. How do you envision streaming going once you become a lawyer?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I've loved all of these questions tonight. I feel like a real celebrity, you know, like an A-session too. How do I envision streaming going when I'm a lawyer? I've actually thought about this. So over the summer, I was an intern at a law firm. So I was basically kind of a real. And it was tough. It can be tough, you know, working 9 to 5 and then coming home, and obviously you have to eat and you want to just like chill the fuck out, and then you have to stream. But I made it work over the summer, and I hope to make it work in the future. Obviously things might have to be adjusted. Maybe I'll only be able to stream 2 days a week rather than 3. But I do plan to try my best to make it work, and I guess we're just kind of going to have to see how it goes, how busy I am. But I just love it, so, you know, I find if you love something, you'll make time for it, so we'll see how it goes.
I feel like you might be in, like, a Tarva situation, because, like, I know he's a lawyer, too, so, like, he's either on really, really early or really, really late.
And he streams
Yeah.
like 8 hours on
Yeah.
Saturdays.
And I
He
was just
does,
like,
yeah.
whoa,
Here,
like,
hold on. Let me do a caster for Travis.
do you know the numbers
yeah,
though?
please, baller.
79.
Okay,
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
Yep.
of course.
Currently
Uh,
offline though.
Yeah.
Do they have? Oh,
He's a machine.
We actually discussed this earlier in Tiff's channel, right? But yeah, do they have the bar in Canada?
we do. So I have 2 more semesters left of school. I'll graduate in May, and then I'll have my law degree. But I'm not a real lawyer then. So the way I always describe it is similar, because a lot of people know more about med school than they do about law school. So similar to how when you get your medical degree, you're not a doctor, you have to go through residency first. Like you may have the doctor title, but you know what I mean? Same thing with law. So after I get my law degree, then I have to do an articling period after I get my degree. And then I write the bar, which is essentially like a comprehensive exam. And once you pass that, you're a lawyer. So yes, to answer the question, yes, we do have the bar. I will write that next year. No, to follow up, because we talked about this earlier, no, I'm not stressed about it because I'm not looking that far ahead. And hopefully it'll all be fine.
So I have a question that can kind of like round this out, unless anyone else has any in the chat. But if you do, we can get to that quickly afterward. But how do you feel that streaming has changed who you are? And then like, did you ever think that you'd be in this situation or like point where like you do this scheduled out and then like you've been doing this for so long? Because I know a couple people who've like done it, quit, and then came back to it, quit, and then like not been consistent. But you've been pretty much consistent from when you started, as far as I know, from the time I've been watching you.
Mhm.
So how do you think it's affected, or like, and then did you think you'd be doing this for long, or did you like ever want to like stop at some point, or?
Yeah, so well, for me personally, and like it sounds kind of wild, but like this streaming and this channel and this community that I've created is honestly one of the moments that I'm most proud of my life. Like obviously getting to law school was huge, you know, graduating high school, getting Muffin, like there's lots of big highlights. But honestly, this like doing this has meant so much to me. In so many ways. I've met so many friends, which has been amazing. B, just the support that I get. It really makes me feel so good. You know, people, they show up every time I'm streaming. They hang out with me. I realize like, hey, there's people, you know, they like me. Like it's a great confidence boost. And just seeing that I've kind of grown this thing from literally nothing to, you know, where we are now. It's just something that I'm personally very proud of. When I first started doing it, I didn't know if it was going to be a one stream thing. Here we are almost 3 years later. There's definitely been times, especially early on, when I'm like, I don't like, is this even worth it? But it's just, I can't see myself like, you know, maybe in the future, but as of right now, I don't ever want to stop. I absolutely love what we're doing. It's done wonders for even just my self-confidence. Growing up, I was always kind of a little, you know, I'd keep my nerdy side kind of closeted because, you know, it wasn't cool. And just like, I totally embrace it now. I love it. I love, you know, being open with you guys and chatting with you guys. And so Twitch to me has meant so much, and I'm very happy to have met you all, and I'm very happy to be streaming on Twitch. So.
And then the follow-up for that is, if you had to say one thing that you either regret or like feel like you wish it could have gone different since you started streaming, what would that have been? It could have been like something like that either affected your personal life because you started streaming, or something that like interlapped, or like you felt like you noticed something dropped off, or...
Slight note, let's put the negative questions for the positive questions on the stream.
Well, luckily enough, I have the perfect answer. If there's one thing that I could change on stream and go back and do better, it would be that trash wheel. I would do a much better trash wheel.
No, you wouldn't.
You're gonna like take the time to learn like 6 months out. Like, all right, I'm gonna get this down.
And wow, you guys. Yeah, maybe one of those days.
All right, so if no one has any further questions, in the chat, and then I don't know if Rory, Melissa, or Morgan, I was like blanking. Have any specific questions for Tiff? Now would be the time.
Ari, Tiff can't cartwheel. Not even close. I can't do it either, though. So, yeah. There's a clip.
Ari,
There's multiple
I'll
clips.
send you a
She's
video.
tried it a bunch of times.
I'll send you a video of a highlight reel I made. It has it in there.
Oh god.
If you ever there's something though, if you ever want to feel like if anybody here ever wants to like really bad about themselves for some reason, go watch like a kid's gymnastics class. Like I have a friend who's a gymnastics instructor, and they're like 8-year-olds who can like flip over giant beams.
They look
and
like
stuff
ninjas.
Like that.
There's like
Trash reel
like,
emotes.
There you go. That
Trash
should
reel
be.
emotes.
Morgy, what do you think? You think you can whip up a trash wheel emote?
A trash wheel? Oh, I could try to. I feel like it could be hilarious. I will try. Spin wheel on trash. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you guys had any questions or anything like comments.
Thank you, Tiff,
Yeah.
for joining us
thank you.
for this.
Thank you for being kind of the like
Guinea pig?
alpha like testing for the whole podcast. I also just realized that it's still episode 2 when it really is episode 3. So let me go and make that.
Oh,
change
I thought
real quick.
I thought that was going in a different direction.
No,
like,
no.
different alpha tester. When you started, you said like, "Thank you for being the alpha," and I was like, "What?"
No, so thank you for being the alpha tester for our podcast. Now we know the format for 5 people, and people know that you can get on here. Not necessarily without filling out a form, because I need that form filled out. That lets me know you're interested.
Anytime.
I had a really great time. Thank you guys for having me. Thank everybody for your questions. I kind of feel a little bit like a celebrity, not gonna lie. No, but seriously, I had a really good time, and you're great. And maybe I'll come back again sometime.
Yeah, we'd love to have you after maybe another milestone or something, or after we run out of people who don't want to fill out the application or something.
There's a lull.
You were our first guest on Streamers Become Human.
Yay!
They always tell you lead with your best, and then I don't know, everyone else after is all right, yeah, but you weren't the first. Like, all right. Okay, waiting.
We're gonna be back next Wednesday.
All right, because
next Friday, Melly's also not gonna be.
We're gonna
here.
have a little schedule shift for just the next 3 weeks or 2 weeks?
Couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks,
Yeah.
including this week. That's why we're streaming today on Wednesday. So from now on, the streams are going to be Wednesday, around this time, right? Because that's the time we're all free.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's because they're both gonna, or them 3. Like I could do it solo on Friday, but like I'm not gonna be able to do that. Like I could, but I'm not going to. They're all gonna be gone different time periods, so yeah, we're gonna be doing Wednesday for just the next 3 weeks, or next 2 weeks, because today was the first time. Yeah, right. What is the feedback for the setup? Usually we have a overlay, but because it's 5 cameras and not like evenly centered, we don't have it.
So next week.
Okay.
I don't.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
there a
Ray.
guest next week, or do we have?
We can reach out to Tony and see, because I know he wrote in the thing that we'd have to let him know ahead of time because he might be doing something.
We also have to have an internal discussion about his acceptance, just to make sure that everyone.
Well, I already approved it. All right, it's fine. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh my gosh. Ray, so we actually are gonna try to look into it. We weren't sure if we
yeah,
can
because
do it in the middle or not.
we did Google it, and they were saying that there's no way to switch up the camera placements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because every time that we have done this, we've done 2 episodes before this. We were always in the same spot.
Yeah, and with 4 people, it's easier because we were all in the same spot. That's why I had this specific overlay. But
I have an
now with
idea.
the added one, it's
Next time we do this call, you like Trev, you'll start the call. We'll all answer, and if we're in the wrong spots, you just hang up and you call again. And you hang up.
Yeah,
and
maybe
call
we'll
again
see if it'll do
until
it
we're
again.
all in the right spot.
Yeah.
yeah.
we
I'm
could
not
see.
sure if it's
Yeah, because we wanted that too, Ray,
based
for sure.
on who
You know,
answers first, or if
got
it's
my
like
face, but-
username or something. I don't think it's username because yours is Talkbus, yours is Sugar Melly, mine is Hellox, and then yeah. So I don't think it's that. So maybe it's who answers first. But yeah, that's
Maybe
definitely
we'll just have to see.
something we wanted to fix, but we couldn't because we didn't know it was gonna be like this.
Could it be who calls?
But you didn't start
Um,
the call, did you?
So I've done the call this time, but the past 2 times it was Rory doing the call, I think, and the other DM. So yeah, we'll figure something out. We'll test it, and if not, then there's got to deal with not being the center. That's all I gotta say. Like, okay, so I don't know if any of you have anybody on who we could potentially just throw and raid.
Paka is on.
Oh, Paka is? Okay.
She is, yes.
Streaming.
She's streaming League right now.
Oh, okay, never mind. No, I was kidding.
Says for me, she's doing.
Oh, now she's on Rainbow Six. Okay. 10
okay.
minutes ago when I checked, she was on League.
Yeah. So, we'll be back next week with potentially a different guest, if everything goes to plan.
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially, depending on if they're free or if schedules align. Once again, thank you, Tiff, for being the first person on here.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Tiff. We had so much fun.
Yeah.
I loved being here. It was fun.
Hopefully we can get you back in the future after X amount of time or...
Muffin.
Oh yeah, Ray. Good luck getting in with that application, by the way.
We should do one post Tallara. I think that's when you're
That would be
recording.
good, actually.
That would be a great idea.
Yeah.
I think that's a really, really good idea. Yeah, I vote for that.
Okay, so yeah, alright. You're booked already for after Tallara.
All right, I'll
Immediately
pencil
on.
you in.
It's probably best because like we're booking it, so far in advance.
Yeah.
It fits in my schedule.
Yeah, and I want to thank all of you in chat for coming in, asking questions, being interactive, just showing up on something that we
And
literally
I-
created on a whim in a game, just playing. So
And I can create like a podcast channel in each of our Discords, so whichever ones you guys are in.
So if you guys want,
We have-
if you have specific articles or questions or
suggestions for guests.
yeah, suggestions, content, whatever, just throw them in there and we'll look at it and then we'll judge what we need to do and fix or.
Mhm.
So yeah, all right, we're going to raid Packin now. If
Yep.
she's still on.
She is.
Is that how you
Trev-
spell it? No,
Trev-
she has.
no, that's
whatchamacallit.
wrong.
Yeah,
Oh, no, yeah.
She's got an
No.
underscore, right?
She's got an underscore, yep.
End up with some
Created the wrong
rando.
one.
That was like
Not another
who
AJ
was it?
situation.
I think
It was Melly
Yeah,
tried to
I-
raid Andy. Yeah.
Well, no, it was
AJ,
that. And then
it was
AJ,
AJ.
yeah, AJ.
AJ,
Some
yeah.
random person got raided, and I was like, that wasn't even their channel because he didn't have the.
Yep.
The underscore, man. The underscore messes it up.
All right, so hopefully, maybe one day, Paco will be on here with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks guys for showing up, and yeah, we're gonna try to get other people like Ash or other people you guys know super well.
Good night, everybody.
But yeah, all right.
Night.
Thanks for
Good night,
spending
everyone.
2.5 hours with us. All right. See ya.